Oh, hey guys. Sorry, I'm just sending a quick text to Estelle. I thought I had more time than this. All right, guys. Oh, not Burning Blue. Y'all got jokes. I love that song though. Guys, okay, full transparency. This live almost didn't happen. I have been sitting on this for about 48 hours debating if I was going to do this live, and if I did this live, how I would approach it. You guys know I'm full of transparency, much to the chagrin of those who live in the shadows. And so I do have to explicitly call out that somebody said, Blue, you late, girl. I know. And here I am. I showed up. And we teach that in the class, guys, by the way. When you mention something that can't be changed, what is the intention? I'm just saying. And I apologize for being late. And also, for this one in particular, I was late intentionally because I was looking for a piece of footage that I think is responsible to add to the conversation. And how am I feeling? I'm PMSing, so I'm very tired. And I knew this conversation could not wait. And so I want to, number one, before we even start this dialogue, we're going to start off with the Rapture stuff just to keep it light. And then we're going to go into the Cardi B v. Crystal conversation. I did make it a point not to put Crystal's name in the title. And there's reasons for that. So let's get into basically, first of all, my conflict of interest and or the things that you guys need to know about me receipt wise, right? Because I always talk about receipts. I am my own receipt. You ain't got to look me up. I'm going to just fucking tell you. Yes? So I do not know Crystal. And this is important. My best friend of 24 years, who I considered the most important man in my life for my entire adulthood up until 4 years ago when we stopped talking. He was incredibly close to Crystal and Greg, i.e. Crystal and Kid Fury, which means through him for years, I would hear about them through the lens of my closest friend, who they considered a brother. I think they still consider him a brother. So you know that thing that happens when it's somebody you're really close to is very close to someone else, and even if you haven't met, you know, as soon as you meet them, you're going to be like, oh my God, I've been hearing about you for years, right? So I knew about Crystal and Fury before the read even existed as my best friend's close friends. He was in their fray, right? Same thing goes for Lovey Ajayi. My best friend was also very close to Lovey. I think she even gave him a shout out in her book. She was at his house when she got her book deal. Like, there are a bunch of people in this industry that I have known for upwards of 15 years or known of them upwards of 15 years because of my bestie. And so when you love somebody as much as I loved him, there's an immediate fondness that you have for them before meeting them. Then when I moved to Los Angeles, I became very close with Sarita Singleton, who was the showrunner of Rapture and who used to work in Insecure. Sarita, and I think I can say this now because Rapture is over and there's no NDAs and I'm not saying anything. That's a big secret. Sarita wanted me to be in the writer's room for the season 2 of Rapture. It would have been my first writer's room credit. And she fought very hard for me to be in there, but you know, there was limited budget. There was an acquisition that happened. I couldn't get in the writer's room, despite the showrunner, the person in charge, wanting me in there. She did say, though, Blue, I think you're a great writer. I think you have great ideas. If you ever want to come to the studio and sit in the writer's room with us, you can do so. I took her up on that offer and ended up being seated in a writer's room for 8 hours next to Kid Fury, who was actually a part of that writer's room. For 15 years, my best friend has said, oh my God, you and Greg are so alike. The day you guys meet, I know you're going to find him brilliant. And my best friend was right. I sat next to Fury for 8 hours. We had coloring books because Sarita likes it when we can like get into our inner child. And I sat next to Fury, and within 2 hours, I was like, oh, this is why my bestie thought we would get along. Oh my God, he's so brilliant. Also, Fury and I have mutual friends. I will not name them. And so about a dozen times we've run into each other at people's houses at parties. And I'm always the person where if he looks tired or anxious or whatever, I'll be like, you want an edible? I'm that girl at the function. If you look stressed, I will offer you some candy. Okay? A legally obtained edible in the state of California. I'm not breaking any laws. So this is all to say there is a familiarity, a fondness, and an overlap that I have with Fury, and a warmth from a distance that I have towards Crystal. I did not start listening to the read until they had hit the 10-year mark, because I was so tired of my best friend for 10 years talking, oh, you Rapture was so good on, thank you. I'll let Sarita know you said that. Because my best friend had been talking about the read for a decade, I went to their 10-year anniversary show because I was like, okay, let me go support these people because my best friend loves them. They're wonderful. They're wonderful, and choosing words carefully. They're wonderful and they're human. Human beings are fallible. We all have egos, though. And as an emotional intelligence coach, I'm going to say this. Crystal went to school to be a therapist. She is not a practicing therapist. Because when I was blown up, my phone blew up the second the episode came out. You understand me? The second the episode came out, my phone started to blow up. Because therapy is not the same thing as emotional intelligence. Crystal very beautifully, and I played a video of her speaking for herself. So I'm going to be playing videos of Cardi, videos of Crystal and Greg, videos of the audience reactions. I want this to be a responsible deep dive. And the reason why I'm pointing out that emotional intelligence is not the same thing as therapy is Crystal went to school to understand therapy, and she's very honest about that. 40% of my clients are long-standing therapists. EQ and therapy are not the same thing. They work beautifully and gorgeously together. I tell my clients all the time, if you come to me, your therapist will thank you because you'll be easier for them to work with. Yes? So not all therapists have high emotional intelligence. I will say this, Crystal and Fury have higher than average emotional intelligence. Let's give them their due. And again, they still have blind spots. Oh, I hate having to do this. I very heavily believe that what was said and the response to it afterwards, if I was closer to Crystal, would have made me call her to point things out to her that she might not want to have a conversation with the public about. Because remember what I said? I don't give credit for telling the truth. A trained parakeet can tell the truth. I also am not heavily impressed by how you tell the truth, because a sociopath can speak in a way that sounds stoic and kind. I do, though, examine why you're telling the truth. The truth, when it is a bridge meant to connect and clarify, is honorable. The truth, when it is wielded like a sword and used as a shield from accountability, is dishonorable. Do you think Crystal built a bridge or wielded a sword? For all you tough love, old school aunties out there who didn't get therapy or emotional intelligence coaching, objectively speaking, fuck my feelings and fuck my personal allegiances. Is what you heard a bridge or a sword? Did it make anything better regardless of if she had points? Some are saying a bridge, some are saying a sword. I have a very clear answer to that. And we'll get to that in a second. So one of my friends said, Blue, before you do the Crystal and Greg things, Gia was definitely a sword. Honey, plot twist, it was a sword, y'all. It was a nice sword, but it was a sword. It was a sword you're familiar with. It was a sword that you like. You guys, I don't care. It was a bridge to you because you probably have normalized dysfunction, guys. Here's the thing. A sword feels like a bridge to someone who's used to walking on swords all the time for survival. Oh, this is so tricky because I like everybody. Let's get into it, guys. Let's first start with the Rapture. So that was the intro. So those of you who came in here to listen to me drag Crystal, you can leave. You've wasted your time. Those of you who came in here to excuse Crystal, you might want to get a drink. Me and Nuance had a whole different conversation. And guess what, guys? I'm not Team Cardi or Crystal. They're both human beings who can both be wrong. Yikes! Yikes! I know fandoms like polarity and binaries, right? Fandoms love binaries. They love everything to be black and white when the bitches y'all love tend to be very dark shades of gray. So unfortunately, if you came here for a cheap hot take, a cheap clip, I didn't wait 3 days to be cheap, y'all. I didn't wait 3 days to be cheap and either cape or clap. I came here to have nuance and show how everybody had something to learn and nobody's apologizing. Crystal has refused to apologize because this is how she's always been, her words. Cardi has nothing to apologize for because she was attacked, whether you like her or not. And I have only found 2 or 3 people who approach this with the same lens as me. One of them I know personally who's very popular on social media. And so I'm going to wait to show her video last because her immediate thoughts were my immediate thoughts. And for those who wonder about my stance politically, I am a radical moderate. I believe that Crystal is a conservative radical. Actually, no, I think I'm probably a conservative radical and she's a radical moderate. Yeah, I think I'm the radical conservative. I have it backwards. I'm part of the radical camp, but I'm as conservative as you can be while still being radical. Crystal is she's from Oklahoma. She's conservative in a lot of her views, whether she realizes or not, but she's as radical as you can be while still being a conservative. So as a conservative radical, speaking on the actions of a radical conservative, I can actually speak to the places where I believe she made epic mistakes, ongoingly so. Understanding that a year ago, that could have been me. Yeah? The line between me and her is very thin. So I can approach this with a level of grace, but also calling her on her bullshit that people who are further away from the middle probably can't. But first, let's get into the Rapture. All right, shout out to all the conservative radicals out there. We do exist. A conservative radical, for those who are confused, I got it backwards at first for a second. A conservative radical is someone who is incredibly progressive, but who doesn't throw away the baby with the bathwater when it comes to recognizing that some of the traditional things still work for people individually. Not everything our grandmas taught us was trauma. Whereas radical conservatives can be queer, they can be very progressive in their views, but as soon as they get mad, they sound incredibly traditional and problematic. And respectability politics be catching them slipping. Okay? So that's the disclaimer so that y'all know if you want to leave. Let's now get into the foolishness first, the Rapture. The Rapture, honey. Let's pull up videos for the Rapture. By the way, I have been doing client readings all day. Shout out to the new wave of clients that I've gotten recently. My OGs, day ones, who come to me every month, are pissed at y'all because reservations, getting a booking with me these days is tricky. For anybody who's looked to booking with me, just know I'm booked into mid-October already. So if you were thinking about doing a booking with me in October, November, you might want to book now. I'm booked about a month in advance at this point. So if you were thinking about doing it before Halloween, you might want to do it now. All right, so let's talk to the heathens who've been left behind. Happy Rapture Day, y'all. How it feel to be left behind? My government name is Mary Jesus Telusima, and I still didn't make it to the Rapture. Ain't that about a bitch? I got named after Christ, and I'm still here in my blonde braids and my bonnet. That's some bullshit. All right, guys. For those who did not know about the Rapture, somebody said, my Gemini rising, I stay in the center, but depending on my journey, I'm from center to right. I don't stay in the center. A bitch lives in the fringe. I just like luxury, okay? So, let's talk about the Rapture. For those who are unaware, let's do a recap because it took me about 1.5 business days to realize this was not going away.
You're not on Rapture Talk. I feel so sorry for you. This is hilarious. It's every single video on my For You page right now. For the last hour, that's all I've been seeing, and it's hilarious. There's this woman giving tips on how to prepare yourself for whenever you are lifted into the sky.
Yeah,
Like,
that was interesting.
you have to keep your eyes up. Don't ever look down. There's a lady like leaving a list of things to do for like her like loved ones, or like what she has to prepare for, like saying like passcode to the basement. What do you got in the basement you need a passcode for?
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
The location of her cash, her bank accounts, everything.
I've been procrastinating.
Why would you leave your bank account information because you're waiting on the rapture? A lot of y'all got robbed this week.
I'm making this video because I did not want to look crazy, and I wanted to wait until I was absolutely sure that this was going to happen.
Babe.
But I've had too many confirmations from the Lord to even fathom doubting it at this point. And I just need to come on here and tell everybody that Jesus is coming back very soon.
Oh.
And it's way sooner than we think.
But didn't the Bible say we wouldn't know the date or the time? I could have sworn, maybe I have an old Bible, but I could have sworn in Matthew, James, Luke, one of them Bibles, he said we wouldn't know the date and the time. So, and also, we're all on different time codes. In fact, in Ethiopia, it's like June right now. There's some countries that don't even have the same calendar as us. So how did God pick the 23rd? And is it the 23rd on the Eastern Hemisphere or the Western Hemisphere? Because Australia is already into tomorrow. The way my tism is set up, this is why I can't do church talk, because I got too many questions.
Before I even saw any videos talking about the Rapture or the Feast of Trumpets this year, I had already felt in my spirit that he was coming back, like this month. And I couldn't shake that feeling. And I was like, am I crazy? And then I kept seeing videos on it online of people saying the exact same thing. And I was like, okay, yes, I've seen people talking about the rapture before, but I've never seen so many people do this, think about.
So her argument is the mass hysteria must mean it's real. Mickey wrote, I didn't want to make any jokes about what God would do or not do. My inner Christian child said that's blasphemy. Here, guys, here's the thing about the rapture that makes me nervous before I continue with this poor young lady who I hope didn't wake up to being robbed by her bank accounts being emptied. This is going to be controversial. I am an incredibly Christ-like person who has stopped calling myself Christian. Just because calling myself Buddhist works for me. Why? Several reasons. One of them is about my conversation in my walk with God. And the other one is about shutting y'all the hell up. If I was to come on here and say I was Christian, there's a lot of things that I would say that y'all wouldn't mind your business about, because Christians feel like they have a responsibility to mind the business of other Christians. The minute I say I'm Buddhist, you all leave me alone. I realize that y'all leave Buddhists alone. I'm not saying that's why I became Buddhist. I'm just saying it's a perk. Right? Y'all leave me alone the minute I say I am Buddhist, people be like, oh, she must drink matcha and chant. I do. You're correct. And they mind their business. I wish y'all would allow the same autonomy to other Christians. Yes? Number two, I have been told by my Christian friends that I'm probably one of the most Christ-like people they know. So being a Christ-like Buddhist means if there was a rapture, that'd probably put me in a little section. So I'm actually not worried. When me and one of my closest friends, the mother of my goddaughter, stopped talking, won't say her name because she's very popular on social media. Her last words to me when we stopped being friends was, oh my God, you're so fucking earnest. My Christian friend was frustrated with me because of how earnest I was. Look that word up if you don't know it, right? So I'm so Christ-like, I annoy actual Christians. I don't need the title. Me and God are good. Y'all got too many rules. Y'all got too many fees. So please don't mistake the fact that I'm Buddhist for me not understanding Christianity. My name is Maria Manuela Telusma. My mother literally named me after Mary and Jesus. Okay? If I had the last name Joseph, it would have been ridiculous. Yes? And also, Bridget's always making fun of me. She's like, your belief of the golden rule is actually scary. I literally won't do something to you that I wouldn't want you to do to me. Literally won't do it. Even if people tell me I could do it, if I won't let you do it to me, I won't do it to you. I'm very big on that. Yes? And so, by the way, this also feeds into my critique of what Crystal did, because Crystal did a lot of things to Cardi that she wouldn't want done to her. Respectfully. No shade, no tea. Crystal, if you see this video, I trust your heart. I do not think you had any bad intentions. And sis, we need to talk. So, as someone who annoys people, I will say this. Back in the day when I was in the church, and this is scary. Somebody said in Ethiopia it's 2018 right now. Exactly. So, what September 23rd are y'all even talking about? Right? So, back in the day, Bridget told me not to tell the story, but I'm going to tell it. Fuck it. Back in the day, I was such a Bible thumper that I was a homophobe and I was heavily judgmental. And there was a little girl in the church named Aisha. Aisha was a whore. And I'm saying that because that's what I used to say in school. I remember being 8 years old and saying, y'all, Aisha's a whore. And they'd be like, Emanuela, you can't say that. I'm like, no, she's a whore. I was a Bible thumper. Okay? So, little girl named Aisha in my school, I was convinced she was a whore. And so I decided I was going to beat her ass for Jesus. Bridget told me not to tell the story. Here I am telling the story. Yeah, y'all, I was a Bible thumper, quite literally. Autism, you can't say Bible thump and think I'm not going to take it literally. So one day coming out of school, Aisha was talking about how we could all have, somebody said gasping homosexual. Mike, shut up. So I said Aisha was a whore. We had been studying, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's a whore. She's going to hell. And we're coming out of school. Yes, no, I used to be one of them Christians that, like, if I had stayed Christian, I probably would have gotten arrested, y'all. No, seriously. Me calling myself Buddhist probably kept me out of jail. So because I thought she was a whore, we're coming out of class and we're about to walk past the front gates where they have the statue of Mary. And Aisha says, well, you know, we don't have our periods yet. So technically, if we have sex right now, we can't get pregnant. The blood of Christ came over me and I whooped Aisha's ass right in front of the statue of Mary. I beat the brakes off that girl for Christ, y'all. Yeah, no, I did. Mm-hmm. I heard Bible thump, and in my autistic brain, I thought that meant that God wanted me to have hands. When I say I know how to fight, it comes from my Christian days. Yes, I was 8 years old. And I also had a biting problem. A lot of autistic kids have biting problems. I beat and bit the shit out that girl. And when the nuns dragged me away, and they said, somebody said, y'all don't judge me, okay? This is why it's really, you gotta be careful who you have extreme religious doctrine with, okay? Because some of us take his shit literally. Somebody said, yeah. So Blue was like, try me, not Jesus. Exactly. So I beat her ass on behalf of Jesus Christ. The nuns are laughing when I tell them the reason, and then they pulled it back. Sister Mary Beth, who to this day I think was a lesbian. She had a very extensive plaid collection. I think she had her own walk with Christ. Sister Mary Beth, the butch nun, cackled a little bit and then said, Emanuela, you can't beat people up for Christ. I said, but she's a whore. And they were like, yeah, but that's not what we meant. So they laughed. They laughed because they recognized it was their fault. I said, y'all give me directions. Y'all said God will smite you. Then y'all named me Jesus. So I took that personal. Do you know I went home to my mother? Why the fuck would you name me after Jesus Christ if I can't beat people up on Christ's behalf? I'm a very protective person. If Christ is my homeboy, I should be able to beat your ass on his behalf. I was one of those, right? I was also very anti-gay, very anti, what do they call it? Abortion. I was anti-everything, okay? Y'all laughing, but this just shows you why I had to be Buddhist, y'all. I would have been arrested as a Christian. I would have been arrested, okay? And I probably would have been very popular because Christians who are violent are very popular in jail. Now, fast forward about 12, 15 years later, I get a call from my family saying, your cousin has been put away for a mental health hold. I show up and my family is sobbing and I'm the one who's always good in a crisis. So I walk into the doctor. I say, why is my 20-year-old cousin being held on a mental health hold? What is happening? The first thing they say to me is, your cousin has schizophrenia. This is serious. It usually shows up in young men between the ages around 17 to 24. So this is right around the time that it shows up. And the first thing we had to do when we realized that he was schizophrenic was take away his Bibles, because the stories in the Bibles that we understand are fables. if you are someone with a mental health disorder, the Bible is actually one of the most dangerous things you can read because it feeds into psychosis. I became Buddhist about 3 years after that. And that I do consider that a turning point. I come from a family, shout out to all the Haitians out there who don't get therapy. I come from a family of traumatized Caribbeans who hide mental health illnesses behind Jesus Christ in the Bible. Religious psychosis is something that I know for a fact runs in my bloodline. I'm very clear that 8-year-old Blue beating the fuck out of little Aisha Ryan. Oh, should I said her last name? But that's awkward. Hey, girl, I hope you're okay. I know little ass Blue, who thought it made sense to beat that girl's ass. Had I stayed in church and became as extremist as I was becoming, had I not pulled away and got therapy and then revisited Christ, there's no... It's a slippery slope. Why are y'all still laughing? I'm being so transparent right now, right? So I need you to know, being someone who not only knows how religious extremism, even when something as beautiful as Christianity, I do think the Christian church is a beautiful thing, right? And I've been told by several people in the spiritual realm, a couple of shamans, that I was a nun in a past life, which makes sense why I really identified with protecting the nuns as a child. But as someone who was very steeped in the church, loved the church, was willing to throw hands for Christ, who then got therapy and realized that despite my love for Christ, I was hiding a bunch of my mental health issues behind the Bible. Then to be an adult, seeing my cousin who didn't get pulled out of church, now in a mental health ward, and they're literally ripping the Bible out of his hands because of the psychosis that came from him taking everything too literal. That is why when the Rapture conversation happened, it was tricky for me. And those of you who were like, oh, we thought it was satire, I never thought it was satire. I come from the kind of Haitian family where had I not went to go see the lady and traveled and fucked a little bit and realized that homosexuals weren't going to hell, had I not had that other walk, I might have been on here as Sister Maggie Manuela wearing a white veil talking about I'm getting ready for the rapture my damn self. I feel like I narrowly escaped being as crazy as these people. So we're going to talk about the rapture really quick, and then we're going to get into the really awkward but necessary conversation around what I believe went left with that segment of the read. Again, nothing but love and respect for Greg and Crystal, but I do believe, I do believe if I love and respect what you do, and I like personally enjoy you in real life, and you are publicly putting yourself out there, if I'm being asked to speak on it, I have to be responsible. Okay? Somebody said Mary Gag. Y'all still, should I not have told y'all? Was Richard right? Should I not have told y'all I beat that girl up for Christ? Let's just watch the video, y'all.
This certain date, September 23rd, before ever. And then I'm seeing videos of the people that have done all the calculations, and they all line up perfectly, and they make so much sense. And so I was like, well, let me go back and talk to my Father about this, like my Heavenly Father. Let me go into prayer and ask the Lord to show me very specific signs if he's actually coming back, because I don't want to be deceived, and I don't want to be like a false prophet coming on here and saying something if it's not going to come true. And yet God showed me the very specific signs that I asked from him. And so many other people have had the same thing where they ask God for a very specific sign, like, Lord, if the rapture is coming like this month, if you're coming back soon, then show me like a blue butterfly or something, very specific. Oh, bon Dieu. And he has answered them. Did you say a blue butterfly? That same way with a sign. So also, I don't know, like nobody knows, if it's gonna happen until
when Jesus comes and takes his faithful
there's black people involved in this.
His faithful remnant off the earth. And all the little children under the age of accountability. I know this might be a very sad...
Wait, all the children under the age of accountability, is that 18? Did the Bible say 18 and under, or is that an American thing? Because I thought in some states it's 16. What's the age of accountability? Can the Christians in here let me know? Because y'all know I've started chanting now. I'm not... What was the age of accountability? Is that a thing in the Bible? Y'all...
Time period right now for anyone who's left behind looking for answers.
I'm left behind and I am looking for answers, sir.
And it's only going to get worse and a lot darker. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't want to
12? Wait a minute. The age of accountability in the Bible is 12. Can somebody Google that? Wait a minute. Y'all gonna get me in
carry
trouble.
on too long for no reason. I wanted to make this video very brief. It's about to
Significant is because of the vision he gave her prior to that. Go watch the video before this if you want more details. I don't want to drag this video on forever. Rosh Chodesh means new moon. And Feast of Trumpets is the only feast that is centered around the new moon. And the Lord has been showing me in scripture for the last week in Amos 8 how this ties to the rapture and to the beginning of tribulation.
Y'all, this sounds like my cousin when they took him away. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Mind you, me and my cousin are still cool, but he doesn't believe in social media, so he'll never see this because he thinks the gays and people in LA are going to hell. But wait, what now? I'm gonna fast forward because I feel like I'm gonna say something disrespectful. And oh, she's talking a lot. Okay, this lady said she worried about her dogs. Let's get to the real tea. What's gonna happen to Fido and them if the rapture comes?
But the Lord just keeps giving little, I don't even want to call them little. These are huge.
Wait, there's a point where this lady, I think, has her son featured. Let me see if I can find the part where she features her. Oh yeah, she said she knew the rapture was coming because her 8-year-old.
Like he says it all the time. Let me show it to you so you can see for yourself. Hudson, hold on. Can you tell me what you were just saying?
Rosh Chodesh.
Say it again. What?
Rosh Chodesh.
Rosh Chodesh?
Yes.
Why are you saying that?
Thank you,
Are you as baffled as I am?
Reginald said a part of the rapture problem is people not being able to. Yeah, here's the thing. I've always wondered who thought God was talking to them when it was actually their spirit guides. I've always wondered that.
When this whole thing happened with Mackenzie, the first time where the Lord spoke it to her and she had no clue what he was saying or what it meant, he was asleep taking a nap. And then when I recorded my video and posted it, he was taking a nap. And the irony of this is I was just watching a video sent to me by
my emotions.
So let's go to the lady who's scared about her dog.
My emotions. I'm worried about my dogs when we're raptured. And a lot of people always be like, oh, the dogs are going. But we don't really have any evidence, no scripture to back up.
Those who were asking about the Cardi conversation, we're going to have the Cardi conversation right after this in about 5 minutes. But I wanted to start off something lighter like religious psychosis and mass hysteria. You know, just a little something light. So wait, the dogs are coming? I'm going to get answers from the Christians, y'all. I'm here to get answers from the Christians. And for those who are wondering, when was I the heaviest in Christianity? I was heavy in Christianity in the late 80s and mid 90s in Boston, Massachusetts at the Catholic Irish Church. I was on the cover of the Catholic Times with Cardinal Law, the same man who would later get indicted for the Boston church scandal. So between me beating Aisha Ryan's ass and me being a token black girl on the Catholic Times with a motherfucker who got indicted, I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to do something else. This don't feel like it's my thing. Right? Somebody said not the dogs in hell. Are the dogs in hell? Seriously, can the Christians explain this to me for real?
I mean, people have many pets. They have birds, there's snakes, there's lizards. I mean, people have all kinds of pets. So dogs aren't
the person who's saying, girl, how old are you? I'm 112. Thank you for asking. I'm 112. Moisturizer.
The only pets. So this has really been heavy because I was praying this morning. A little.
So let's fast forward. So the gist is she's scared that her dog is not going to make it. Now, Danielle and I found out at the same time. Like, what's happening?
I just know God is good and he'll handle it all.
Ain't nobody told me the rapture was coming.
Me neither, girl.
I thought it was just this white lady on TikTok. Who is Brother Joshua? Y'all ain't told me nothing.
That's how I feel.
Somebody gave their kid to CPS because they thought the rapture is happening tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't watch this video. What the fuck? Hold on, pause. Okay, I'm trying not to swear so much on my page because the advertisers say it's not good. My bad. What the hell? I'm trying to be mainstream, y'all. Somebody gave their kids to who now? If you give your child up to CPS because of the rapture, you deserve, that's actually okay with me. That's actually okay. Let them go. No, this is ridiculous now.
I'll repeat that. Somebody gave their child to CPS because they thought Jesus, Javante Christ, is coming tomorrow. And not only that, not only that, y'all,
That's
someone
wild.
else sold their fucking car. What the fuck? Check 1, 2. What the fuck is?
Are y'all saying it was an American time only? Because I only seen Americans talking about Rapture talk. Here's
Thank you. Kevin on stage posted it this morning. Like, it's already Wednesday, Thursday in Australia. What 23rd did the rapture mean? Is it East Coast time? I just feel like if God is going to have a feast of trumpets, is that what y'all call it? If there's going to be a feast of trumpets, I just feel like it'd be better organized. Or it would be a surprise, right? Either super organized, take it from somebody who was named after Jesus Christ. I feel like if I, as a triple Virgo, which is the closest you can get to a God complex outside of being a Capricorn, I feel like if I was planning this as Jesus Jesus Christ, I would be a little bit more organized. I'm just saying.
what I think we need to do. Get eyes on CeCe Winans.
Oh,
Who is around CeCe? I believe she lives in Nashville. So CeCe's on, I don't know if Nashville's on Eastern time or Central. I always get confused. I think it's Central. But either way, get a team on CeCe.
right.
Watch her.
I agree.
If she go to bed and the clock go past 12, we good. Because I know CeCe Winans is.
What you mean the Feast of Trumpets is a Jewish holiday? Then why the hell was the Christian lady with the little boy talking about the Feast of Trumpets? Y'all, this is why me and Christianity be having beef, even though me and Christ are good, because y'all got a lot of rules and fees, and I have ADHD, and the Buddhists can barely take me. But like, this feels like a lot. So if the Feast of Trumpets is a Jewish thing, then why are... Yeah, I'm not built for organized religion like this.
And if we can't get eyes on CeCe, get on Shirley Caesar. Find out where Shirley is and get on her, because if they start going up, it's real. If they stay down, it didn't go. So this will be my final video.
So if Jesus comes on Rosh Hashanah, does that mean that we can be friends with the Jews? Like, what are the rules? Because the first time I got sent to detention was when I asked Sister Mary Beth. I really hope she came out before she died. When I asked Sister Mary Beth why the Jews were going to hell, because my mother worked at the Jewish nursing home and I really liked them and I didn't feel like Mrs. Cohen was going to hell, I got sent to detention. I didn't like that.
Because if we get taken up, you know I'm going. If CeCe and Shirley go, you know I'm right behind.
All right, guys. So for those who survived Rapture talk, I just want to say congratulations before we pivot to Cardi, because apparently we are the children that God and them did not want, unfortunately. That sucks for us. Now, we're going to pivot to why I know you guys are here. We're going to pivot to this now. We're going to talk about what happened with Cardi and the Read. But first, we're going to talk about Cardi's rollout, because I do feel like there's Cardi the entity and Cardi the person. And then Cardi the talking point. Yes? Somebody said we are the chosen ones. I want to first talk about the album. I actually am not pro or anti Cardi. Full disclosure, Jason and Cardi are like besties. They're very close. He speaks incredibly high of her. She's very much a Libra. If you know any Libras, you know Cardi. Okay? She is a poster child for Libra, which means they're amazing, they're charming, they're reactionary. They can be hypocrites and judgy sometimes, but they have good hearts. Yes? Not making an excuse, just giving context. So I think if we're going to talk about the Cardi thing, I think the first thing I want to do is start off where all this started. Somebody said they be lying. Oh, girl, I was trying to be nice. Why you doing that? Libras, y'all know y'all be lying, but y'all be making up really good reasons to yourselves to lie. So, Cardi is the Libra. Are you serious? Cardi, for the astrology girls out there, if you are watching the chat right now as we're about to get in the Cardi thing, please understand this is an astrology safe space. We don't guffaw at astrology because I'm an astrologist and I'm also psychic, so it'd be stupid. For anybody who joined as a member, we are going to start classes. And so I have hyperlinked an affiliate link for what they call that? Tarot cards in this description of this live. So if you go to this live's description box, you'll see it says shop and there'll be a link for tarot cards, really inexpensive. And it's an affiliate link. So I have to tell you that if you buy a tarot card, I think I get like 50 cents or something. I don't know. The people at YouTube told me to start linking shit that I like because y'all like what I like. So I linked the tarot cards. So I intentionally linked the old school Rider-Waite deck. Don't bring none of them fancy cards to tarot class because you have to know how to bake a cake before you talk about the icing, okay? Now as for Cardi. Cardi is a Libra sun with an Aries moon. I've always said that Aries moon is probably the worst placement for an Aries because your moon side is how you think when you're not supervised. Who the fuck wants a drunk baby in charge of their internal dialogue? For those who say, how do I sign up for the Tarot Academy? All you have to do is go in the description box and it says join as a member. Members get free tarot classes every month. We had our first members live on Saturday, actually. So we had like a 3-hour live on Saturday. That 3-hour live on Saturday, for those who were in that live, have y'all seen how those stories that we talked about have evolved? We talked about so much shit. We talked about that story with David as well. It's getting really dark. I don't want to talk so much about it on here. So Cardi is very much a Libra with an Aries moon. She acts like a Libra with an Aries moon. And I want us to first start with the backstory around her album. I'm going to play this clip from The Breakfast Club because shout out to Lauren. She did some great reporting on the response to Cardi's album. Cardi's response to Cardi's album. For those who are asking about drunk babies, yes, my shorthand for Aries is drunk babies. Mind you, most of my friends are Aries or Leos, so I'm a drunk baby too. I can't even talk shit. So let's start first with some subtext, because here's the thing, guys. If you don't know anything about Cardi, you don't know anything about what happened with Crystal and Fury, I want you to still be able to watch this along because there are so many teachable moments on all sides. On all sides. Everybody has something to learn, and nobody's allowed to say, well, that's just how I am. This is still an EQ space. So let's start with Cardi's rollout and how Cardi made history in the last couple of days by being incredibly clever.
Shout out to Cardi B. So Am I the Drama dropped on Friday, September 19th. And in that same day, the RIAA, which is the Recording Industry Association of America, certified the album as platinum within that day. So within the first 24 hours.
Within the first 24 hours. And for those of you who are geeking out that Mike is here, yes, Mike is a celebrity in the Blue Crew. So we all know y'all love Mike Goyo. We love him. Please go watch his series, Send Help. Okay? I'm just saying, plug.
That the album came out.
We're dropping a clues bomb for Body. I'm sure people mad. What are they mad about?
Oh yes, people are pissed off because so the album is 23 songs, but on that album, remember she added Up and WAP. Yes, the song with Meg Thee Stallion to the album. Because those songs themselves are so big, people, of course, that takes her to the platinum status. So people were having the conversation about, okay, if those two songs were not added, would she be platinum within the first day? And she broke records for that. I saw one record say that like she was like one of the fastest, albums to do so, or female albums to do so. But the reason why people were pointing out those two songs,
she was the fastest. Not one of the fastest. I think she was the fastest.
Because WAP by itself was 5 times platinum. And then, it was 9 times platinum. And then Up itself was 5 times platinum. So people just feel like it's unfair for her to be able to do so. But let me tell y'all something right here.
Well, it can't be unfair if it's the rules of engagement. You
guys, it's not unfair. It's clever. If something's within the rules, this is not me caping for Cardi at all, guys. Because if Cardi ever did something that I thought was really actually harmful, I'd be the first one on here talking shit. If something is part of the rules and you're innovative enough to think of a clever way to make the most of the rules, that's not unfair. That's not what the word unfair means.
Can do that, then it's not unfair.
This is the thing. I think when it comes to artists, it really is crazy to watch because at the same time that all this is happening and Cardi B is doing so well with this album and the rollout, and people are upset about certain things, she's also feeling so much love too.
Thank you for saying this. Travis Scott did something lazier, but just as clever a couple years ago. And Nicki Minaj, don't come for me, Nicki Stan. I'm just reporting here. Nicki Minaj got mad because Travis Scott had a bundle deal where if you bought a t-shirt, you would get an album. And that helped push his sales. And Nicki had a complete meltdown. That's considered one of her most iconic meltdowns because she said, well, he cheated by doing it as a bundle. We now recognize that was an innovative idea that now a lot of people do. So when you're not breaking the rules, but have found a clever way to make the most of the rules, that is not unfair. It is just innovative. And it often ends up becoming a norm after people see it works for you.
Watch in real time how when you just where you are, people just, you have to be the conversation. So people need something to talk about. So people are going to be upset, but it's because she's doing so well. Because even
that comes with the territory. Though,
yes.
Like people, I was always talking about the rule of 10, right? The rule of 10. 3 people going to like it. 3 people not gonna like it. 4 people don't even know what the hell's going on.
Well, I mean, I will say there were more people I saw liking it. I'm saying that there was things in the album that once I went back and listened again, once it was released, I didn't catch. But yeah, there's been a lot of.
When we're done talking about the serious shit, we're gonna talk about poor Bia, because I'm from Boston, and Bia, I can't have your back, child. And they said your breath smell. That's a rough thing to say. That's a rough hygiene. Y'all know I'm the hygiene. Oh, that's a rough thing to say about somebody. Poor Bia.
Conversation about that. But Cardi got really emotional. She's been live, and you know how she does the spaces and, you know, different things on her own. She's got really emotional about some of the success that she's seen. Let's take a listen to Cardi getting emotional.
All right, what I'm most grateful about is how good people are receiving my music. Like, I have seen so many beautiful compliments, and that means so much to me coming from you guys, because like I put a lot of work in this album, and I had like a lot of feelings during this album. So for you guys to be saying all this beautiful.
Who's from Medford? I grew up in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. Who's from Medford? I'm not from Medford.
Things about my album, like it's getting to the point that it's like, I don't even know which song I should do a music video to next, because you guys have been receiving it so well, and that means so much to me, and I want to say thank you so much. The numbers are doing amazing, but it's expected for the numbers to do good because it's such an anticipated album. But
I love that she points this out. She said the numbers are amazing, but I'm not getting credit just from that, because Bia's from Medford. Bia keeps claiming Boston though, y'all. You know how everybody claims Boston, or how everybody claims New York City, but they be from fucking Albany, somewhere near Canada. I think a lot of people from places like that will just shoot whatever's closest. But I love what Cardi said about, I knew this was going to get a lot of attention just because y'all waited so long. That's not why I'm emotional. I appreciate her pulling that out and pointing out why she's actually getting emotional.
People to say so many beautiful things about my art, like that means a lot, and I'm super grateful. So many beautiful people saying so many beautiful things about my music. I just want to say thank you guys so much. Like, it really.
You know who else I think of when I think about someone saying, I get emotional about my art? Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu once famously said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Erykah Badu also has a history of getting pregnant by different men. Why don't we go after Erykah Badu the way we go after Cardi? Huh? Y'all know that I've lived a lot of life. I met Erykah Badu when she was pregnant, and we almost got into a fist fight. Long conversation. That story I'm not telling until I get behind the paywall. Shout out to the members. I met Erykah Badu when she was pregnant. It was 2008, I think. We had words. Okay? We had words. And her baby daddy at the time, Jay Electronica, must have taken my side because he started following me on Twitter the very next day. It was like 2008, 2009. So I just find it funny that someone like Erykah Badu will take time off to have children, is pregnant by more than one man. At some point, we're going to have to talk about how even people who are radical or progressive still find themselves getting their asses whooped by respectability politics, and how you can see two different people do something similar. But because one is considered a gutter bitch from the Bronx and the other one is considered Texas' finest queen of Nag Champa, one is seen as a deity and the other one is seen as a hood booger. We're going to have to talk about how many of you have mamas who have a similar dating history and reproductive history to Cardi B. Some of y'all mamas, a lot of y'all who are talking shit about Cardi B, I'm not caping for Cardi B, and this is just pattern recognition. This is just pattern recognition. A lot of y'all have best friends and mamas who don't move differently with Cardi B reproductively. Somebody said blue tread lightly. And then even Stefan, I'm not caping for what anybody's doing, but I'm clear that as someone whose daddy has outside children, I gotta take the fucking bass out of my voice when I talk about Stefan. How many baby mamas does your daddy have? No, stop. Stop right now. A lot of y'all's mamas move like Cardi. A lot of y'all daddies move like Stefan. And yet we're pretending. Let me just hit play. Sorry, continue.
Really means a lot.
Tropical Clues Bonds of Body. That's what I was seeing. I was seeing people giving it a lot of great feedback.
Yes, 100%. Now, another one of the things that happened with the album, because remember we talked about how she had the Cardi B bodega on DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It doesn't make it right. It also doesn't give you an excuse to speak to somebody disrespectfully in a way that you wouldn't talk to your mother. That's the point I'm making. I'm not saying that because it's normalized dysfunction, it's okay. I'm saying that when your mama and them and people that you know personally move like this, you don't have the same fucking smoke. But because you think Cardi B's a hood rat, you talk to her differently than you would to Erykah fucking Badu. Can we keep it a stack? I'm not saying it's okay or not okay. One of my favorite things about being Buddhist is we don't feel the need to say right or wrong. We just talk about what's compatible and what's incompatible. I love that. And the thing I love about being autistic is pattern recognition. If you show bitches who move the same way more respect, the only difference is you think it's more respectable when they do it because you actually like them. Okay.
But she also used Walmart, and she used a drone delivery service so that people could get her album as they were ordering it, right? Mm-hmm. So she's doing this drone thing with Walmart, and then she breaks another record, a Guinness's Book of World Records record, and she becomes the most delivered. Her album became the most delivered album with strategic marketing. So
Is there any other albums that did that? I've never seen an album on DoorDash before. I've never seen an album get delivered by drone.
No. So
for anybody who's asking who's y'all is anybody it applies to. So if it doesn't apply to you, you're not y'all.
they're talking through Walmart. So I think it's just a product in general because the title is most deliveries with strategic marketing. So a product in general. I don't think it's just an album. But there's a woman named Kylie Galloway who is a senior executive at Genesis World Records. And she talked to TMZ and she said that the tandem of Cardi Walmart and then the wing drone delivery that Atlantic Records did earned the new title for the most deliveries by a UAV drone.
So again, not caping for Cardi, just reporting facts. Just reporting facts. If Cardi has a fact that doesn't work in her favor, she'll get smoked too. I'm not on anybody's side. She did something that is so innovative that she broke a bunch of Guinness World Records. And now I promise you, this whole thing she did with Walmart and the drones, and this whole thing that she's done with DoorDash and the deliveries, even what she did with lowering her price point, I promise you, people in the cut who have not made any money are watching this and trying to figure out how they can get their marketing team to do something similar. The thing that Cardi has always said, and here's the thing I will say about Cardi is you don't have to like her to admit she's consistent, right? Because me and Bridget were talking about this, and Bridget made a great point. She's like, Blue, I think people are doing a Tyra Banks, but we're all rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. And I said, but pause though. And this is why, and I had to push back, and she was like, okay, this is a good point. When Tyra Banks had that infamous "we were all rooting for you" moment on Top Model, it was because a young lady had wanted to be a model. Tyra gave her an opportunity to do a thing that she wanted to do. And in Tyra's opinion, whether we agree or not, because the young lady has since said that Tyra was full of shit. But in the moment, Tyra's premise was, we were rooting for you because you said you wanted this and we had your back. And you didn't follow through with the thing that you said you wanted with our support. That's actually the fucking analogy. Never in the history of time has Cardi B ever said that she wanted to be a respectable woman in the way that you guys expected. Never in the history of time have Cardi B ever said that when you go low, I go high. Never in the history of time has Cardi said that she didn't like hood niggas. Never in the history of time has Cardi said that she had a problem with the man who had multiple kids. Never in the history of time did Cardi ask you for you to root for her in the lane of respectability. So, like I told Bridget, I'm confused why y'all are upset that she's who she said she was this entire time. Who told you that Cardi wanted something else? It wasn't Cardi. It wasn't Cardi. Who are you rooting for? You need consent to root. So here's the thing, guys. I would not do any of the things that Cardi has done. So personally speaking, Bluecentric would never do any of the things that she's done. And yet, the lawyer in me right? Because people always joke that Blue, you should have been a lawyer, right? It's like, if she's always said that she likes being a hood bitch from the Bronx, she likes dressing nice and fucking hood niggas, she wants to be outside and feel pretty. And if you play in her face, if we have beef forever. If she's always said this is her and she likes it, why are you disappointed? You're disappointed that a dog barked. You're disappointed that a cat meowed. Why are you disappointed at someone being who they always said they were without deviation? You all broke your own hearts. I'm sorry. And I think y'all came on here because you thought that I was going to sound like Crystal. I think you guys all came on here because you thought I was going to do the lazy black auntie thing of wagging a finger, not recognizing the disrespectability politics. Right? And someone said they're disappointed that Cardi is a hateful, colorist bitch. Okay, what does that have to do with her reproductive rights? Mickey, what does that have to do with her reproductive rights? What does that have to do with her being a mother? If you think that it's okay to disparage another woman's ability to choose what she does with her womb simply because you don't like her, how is that different from Charlie Kirk? I want a real answer. If you think you have to like somebody to respect their reproductive choices, how the fuck are you different from Charlie? Respectability politics is whooping y'all in the ass. And unfortunately for you, the way my tism is built up, my pattern recognition can't unsee it. Also, you need to like Cardi and her choices to respect the fact that she wants her baby. You need to like Cardi and her choices to respect the fact that she wants to have her body, her choice. You being disappointed in Cardi's choices makes it okay to disparage her and make lazy assumptions about what kind of mother she is, because nobody said, because you guys love to say, oh, well, just like we tell Nick Cannon, just because you have money doesn't mean you can have a lot of kids. You need to have time for your kids. Who said Cardi didn't have time for her kids, though? Who said Cardi didn't have time for her kids? It was. I just spent 3 days watching nothing but Cardi interviews. Every single interview that Cardi has, she talks about her children and how she's raising them and how her mother and her grandma makes them wash the dishes and how she has a whole tribe of family that are making sure that her kids are raised in the way that she wants them to be raised. Every video I looked at from 2010 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 is Cardi learning how to drive from her father. So why are you disappointed that the lady wanted to have her own fucking business? If Cardi had said, I want to be with the next Russell Wilson. Fuck the futures of the world. I want to, be the next Aisha Curry. And then pull this shit, I would understand. I would 100% be on your side. But why the fuck do we think it is okay to not only talk down to a woman about her reproductive choices? How very MAGA. Why do we think it's okay to talk down to a woman about her reproductive choices just because we disagree with her, while in the next breath fighting for the right for women to be able to have varied choices without people imposing on them? And how do we not see? Let me explain something to y'all. When I do a think piece, because y'all know I'm the same girl who went viral on Hollywood Unlocked for saying fuck you to Ace. Why did I say fuck you to Ace? Because Ace put a Black woman in harm's way unnecessarily. I only do the whole righteous indignation thing when I think harm is being caused by someone, particularly Black people, especially Black women. Yes? So when Ace said something publicly, unnecessarily, from a place of what I believe was vitriol and jealousy, in order to undermine an ecosystem that was built to protect a Black woman, that's why I said fuck you for doing that. Right? I have my Crystal-like rants when I think someone is harm's way, when there is malice present. That is my line. What the fuck is malicious about a woman choosing what to do with her body? I don't talk like that when I'm annoyed. I talk like that when there is malice and harm afoot. That bit of nuance is kicking y'all's asses. But let's continue.
in 1 hour with 176 deliveries by drones.
I'm just happy that Cardi's album seemed like an event. Like
Yes.
these people just, y'all, I'm telling you, man, these artists and these labels, they just be putting out albums like it's nothing. Just drop it online and tell your followers to go pick it up. I like the fact that she had an actual rollout, that she was, doing.
So guys, you guys say you think people are disappointed in her man. I'm gonna take this video down because we keep interrupting it. I'm gonna put the reactions. You guys, how would you feel if you were dating a man that you really liked that everybody else didn't like, and because they didn't like it, they took it as a reason to disrespect you? Uppity African, answer that question. If you were dating a man that your best friend didn't like, would that mean that she'd be allowed to call you names and talk shit about you and attack your motherhood just because she didn't like your man? So now we're saying if I don't like your partner, I'm allowed to talk about you crazy publicly. Is that what we're saying? Oh, okay. You see how this logic only makes sense when it's celebrities, because celebrities aren't people to you? So you want the best for her, so you cuss out a pregnant woman and attack her as a mother because you want the best for her. Are y'all hearing it? You see how I'm not pushing back? I'm just repeating what y'all are saying and letting y'all hear it. Back in the day, these aunties that y'all love to talk about, that y'all mistake me for until you realize that me and Nuance are actually friends and I don't actually subscribe to respectability politics in the same way. And in the moments that I do, I call it out. Back in the day, aunties were rough and nasty with you in the Black community because if you did not listen to them, you could die. If you were with a man who, because up until the 70s, women could not have their own bank accounts in a lot of different states, because men were only the ones allowed to have bank accounts. If you chose a man who was abusive, you financially were crippled. And if he unalived you, the laws might be in his favor. So those aunties that y'all keep referencing were literally worried about life and death. They weren't cussing you out on podcasts for fun. They were worried about what I'm worried about, which is harm and malice. So as a trauma response in Black communities across the diaspora, not just chattel slavery, they knew that if you were a Black body who went outside or a brown body who went outside and did not clock your ecosystem, you'd be financially and even physically and psychologically harmed as a result of that happening. Yes? That level of vitriol was a response to a fear for our literal lives. Now, fast forward 50 years into the future, when women can open in their own bank accounts, we do have financial independence. We cannot be financially abused by men in the way that we used to be. We have full autonomy. Despite having full autonomy, y'all are still talking to us crazy as if we might die. And here's the thing. Nobody in here believes that Cardi B is in danger for her life. Aunties used to talk to you crazy because they needed to scare you before the boogeyman did. So if we're not worried about, again, what happened in that episode only makes sense if we are worried for her safety and we think none of you, I will call you a liar on this live straight to your face. None of you believe that Cardi is in harm's way. You're worried that she might get her feelings hurt. Ooh, she'll survive. There's nothing that Stephon Diggs can do to Cardi B that Offset hasn't already done thrice. There is nothing that Stephon Diggs can do to Cardi B that Offset hasn't already done thrice. Right? And here's the thing. Guess who's dying? The girls who are prey to respectability politics. The girls who won't leave. The girls who won't go outside. The girls who say, that's my man and he's abusive, I'm going to stick beside him. I actually was more concerned for Cardi's safety when she was married in a relationship with someone who was determined to undermine her than I am with her being single and getting pregnant by her rebound who is love bombing her and might have other kids. And then another thing too, why do y'all keep on saying she had 2 baby daddies in under 2 years? Cardi was a wife. Do y'all see how Erykah Badu, perfect example, was unmarried, had babies by several men who she never married, and yet is still got more grace for doing the same thing than Cardi, who actually was in a 7-year marriage? Cardi literally followed the rules and did it the right way. Got married, fell in love, then had children. And y'all are quick to call her a baby mama. But every single day, celebrities who are never married, never even tried, never married, never a wife, y'all don't call them baby mamas. Why? Because Cardi is a hood rat, and y'all are always waiting for a reason to remind a hood rat that she's a fucking hood rat. I think what's really at play here is not what Cardi did. Because again, your mamas, your aunties, some of your best friends are moving like Cardi every day, and y'all speak to them respectfully. Even if y'all don't agree with them, y'all speak to them respectfully. Yes? Shit, I'll call myself out. I did a 5-hour and 46-minute live about how I let a Nigerian nigga scam me in the most textbook way possible. What did y'all do on here? Y'all came on here and said, Blue, we can't believe he did you like that. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for showing your heart. Thank you for being an example of how you can make a stupid mistake and come on the other side of it. Y'all showed me all the fucking grace in the world. I did shit that even I, in retrospect, thought was stupid, and y'all showed me all the grace in the world. But Cardi's a dumb bitch who fuck you and them kids, blah, 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 blah. What's the difference between me and Cardi? What's the difference between Erykah Badu and Cardi? I come off more respectable. Erykah Badu comes off like Queen Mother. At what point are y'all going to admit that it's not the what that is pissing you off, it's always the who? Perfect example. If you don't like Cardi, you were already waiting for a reason, and that's okay. But can we call that out and stop pretending that we were worried about her? You're worried about somebody who you hate and think is a colorist because she called a black woman a roach? That feels disingenuous. I don't believe you. I'd respect you more if you just said, I don't like that lady, so fuck everything she does. I'd respect you more than this virtue signaling bullshit rhetoric that I do not believe. Kim Kardashian did this. So, this is not caping for Cardi. It's calling out that even the progressive voices amongst us. Let's play. Okay, so I'm going to do a thing, guys. Because I already know that y'all know how to talk kindly to women who make stupid mistakes behind niggas who are obvious. Why? Because I was one. I made stupid mistakes behind a nigga who y'all think was obvious, and y'all were kind to me. So I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I've seen better of you. I don't believe you. I just think that I'm more respectable and more palatable than Cardi B because I'm not a hood rat. We always have extra disdain and pull the wagging auntie bullshit, right? The wagging finger auntie bullshit. Why do we always do it with the hood rats the most? Even when the hood rats are okay and have made it out the hood. Cardi B has more money than me, more clout than me, more security than me, everything. Objectively speaking, she is safer than I am. And yet I'm the one who's getting grace while you're worried about her safety. It has nothing to do with the fact that I used to work for Harvard. It has nothing to do with the fact that I have diction that is in alignment with the King's English. No, that has nothing to do with it, right? No. It couldn't be that you are sick of all the hood rats in real life. So even when you meet a hood rat who's doing okay, she's still getting the brunt of your judgment that you've kept to yourself. It couldn't be that at all. So guys, let's start off by listening to what was said. Let's do a quick, it's 100% internalized classism. I always judge me as a bourgeois black person. I always judge my growth by how much grace I show to non-bourgeois people. Because I know that being bourgeois means that the part of that comes from capitalism and the oppressor is going to always want to look down on the other Negroes. James Baldwin and I think it was Audre Lorde both said when it comes to black liberation, it's the bougie people that you have to be worried about the most. It's always the bougie blacks who end up unintentionally undermining their own. So as a bougie black, I hold me and my ilk accountable more than others because the level of cleverness with which we can spoon feed classism and respectability politics to our audiences while hiding behind the guise of, I'm just giving you tough love. Oh, we're masters at it. Oh my God. If I didn't serve a God greater than YouTube, right? If I didn't have a neurological disability that makes it hard for me not to have pattern recognition, it would be so easy for me to come on here and pile on Cardi B and sound completely honorable doing it. Oh my God, it'd be so easy. I need you guys to know how easy it would have been to come in here and manipulate you into thinking that Crystal did nothing wrong. And as someone who knows that friend group, I'm sure that her friends are doing that right now. Respectfully. Because they love her. And they know the internet can be unkind. And if I was her friend in real life, I would have pulled her aside and been that one voice. And Mike will tell you. Mike will tell you. If Mike's still in here, he'll tell you. All your friends can lie to you, baby. I'm going to be the friend. If you have the audacity to ask for my opinion and you give me consent. And here's the thing, guys. Even if your intuition is right, and it does, and by the way, thinking Stephon Diggs is a dog is not intuition. That's just called knowing how to read. So that's not intuition. Don't be self-aggrandizing. Even though your Wi-Fi tells you that it's obvious that he's a rebound and this might not last forever, why is that an excuse to be disrespectful to someone who has done nothing but exercise the reproductive rights? Why is a Black woman dating a man that you think isn't good for her an excuse to rob her of her dignity while she is pregnant? Even if he did suck. No, I want to ask you, who told you that if a Black woman who does not sound bourgeois and educated, despite how smart she is, because funny enough, Cardi B went to college for political science, so she's actually not stupid. But if a Black woman sounds like a hood rat, but is objectively doing okay, and is dating a man that you don't like, why is that okay for you to rob her of her dignity publicly as a reason of that? And why isn't any of that smoke applied to Erykah Badu or me? Those of us who are fabes because we don't make you bristle or have to examine your internalized misogyny or your internalized classism or any of the internalized shit that you do because we're considered the good Blacks. I'm speaking on behalf of the good Blacks. This does not impact me at all. I could very easily have come on here, piled on that girl and been just fine. Unfortunately, the God that I serve won't let me do that. Mike just said, hood rats are the most authentic versions of themselves at all times, and people that are threatened by that growth, by the growth those same hood rats exhibit because the people judging their actions couldn't. Ooh, Mike is. For those who say Black woman is a stretch, Cardi B identifies as a Black woman, so I'm identify as a Black woman. If you want to argue with her. And here's the thing, guys. We can't say we want Afro-Latinas to admit they're Afro-Latina and then mock them when they do. I need y'all to pick one. I can't keep up. Pick one. So do we want Afro-Latinas to stop saying, I know Black, or do we want to beat them up when they say I'm Black? Which one is it? Because it'd be one thing if Cardi B just came on the scene 5 minutes ago and said, I'm Black to get put on. Cardi B will tell you, and because I've watched a lot of interviews, I was born in a Latin household, and I also recognize that my culture is Latino because Latino's not a race, guys. Those of you who think that her saying that she's a part of Latino means she's not Black, do you understand that Latino's not a race? I'm Latina. Are you? Mike is Latino. Are you? I'm having that moment where I don't want to call people stupid because I don't want my frustration to make me classist. So from a non-classist lens, let me explain this to you. I don't care how many videos you pull up of Cardi B saying she's Latina. Latina is not a race, so it's not a mutually exclusive thing to be Latina and also Black. Latina is a culture, and there is Black culture. You can recognize that you have a Latin culture while still embracing the fact that you are racially, have some Black in you. I know that's awkward for some of y'all who had your think pieces ready. I'm just stating the facts. Make the same changes in their own. Thank you, Mike. First of all, I'm happy that Mike is in here because as a Haitian who's also Latino, I just need you to understand. I know, stop revving up. I need to calm down. She's right. Stop revving me up. So let's have a quick vote, guys. And here's the thing. If you leave this live without getting your feelings hurt or having your mind stretched, you're not paying attention because my intention here is not to stroke egos. It's to expand conversation and elevate dialogue and give you an incentive to, when this live is over, to get out of the comments and maybe do a check-in with yourself about how you could grow. For those who are saying a Stephon S.A. demand, that's alleged and that's also not Cardi. So stay on task. So you're saying that any woman who's ever been with any man who has allegations, we should talk to her crazy. So that means, okay, keep that same energy because a lot of you have talked to men who have SA allegations. These are slippery slopes, guys. These are very slippery slopes. If we're saying that we want to, if we're saying that we want to speak disrespectfully to all women who have been with men who have been unsavory, then you all need to log off right now. I've been with men who I later found out had allegations against them, but who convinced me at the time were untrue, and I believed them because I was punch drunk in love, and then afterwards realized that maybe they were true. Is that the line? The line keeps moving. What is the line? Are we now saying that women should be talked down to when they lay down with men who are embarrassing? Because that means your mama, again, y'all's mamas keep catching strays. Y'all's aunties keep catching strays. Why? And why do I keep on saying your mamas? Because generationally, it is our mothers who have been the most impacted by the rhetoric that we are using in order to judge Cardi so harshly and so disrespectfully under the guise of tough love. It is our mamas and our aunties and our grandmas who act the most like Cardi. So it's real fucking tricky for me not to bring up your mama when I see the arguments in the chat. She literally said, I don't want to be Cinderella. She literally said, I don't want that. You're disappointed that someone didn't do a thing that they already said they didn't want. My brain does not understand that, guys. This is not me taking Cardi's side. This is just logic. My autistic brain is confused why y'all are surprised that water is wet. Why y'all are disappointed that a dog barked. Why y'all are in a tizzy that a woman on the rebound was vulnerable and got pregnant. After you spent 5 hours and 46 minutes saying, Blue, it's so fucked up what Icky did to you. You were vulnerable. Oh, okay. So I deserve grace and Cardi doesn't. Got it. Just admit you like me and you don't like her. I would respect it more. So vote, guys. Do a quick vote. Which version of this do you want to listen to? The short 4-minute version or the actual 18-minute version? Take a vote, right? Either 4 or 18, because I want to know what y'all's bandwidth is for us to unpack why. And mind you, Crystal's response is going to be in here. This is not dragging Crystal. It is dragging the part of her and the part in all of us that justified doing this. And then after seeing the reaction, refused to admit any places where she could have moved differently. So this is not about Crystal. This is about what Crystal did is incredibly human. It's something that I relate to. I relate so heavily to Crystal. That's why I'm talking to her the way that I would want someone who loves me to talk to me. All right. Most of you are saying 18. 3 of you are saying 4. All right. So the 18s have won. Wow. A lot of you are saying 18. The 18s have won. For those of you who only wanted 4, this is your chance to do a bathroom break. All right. Let me pull up the 18 version. Hold on. Ooh, child. I didn't want to do this live today. Well, I so didn't want to do this live today. Ooh, all right. And by the way, if the 18 makes my ADHD act up, we're going to pivot to the 4 because the bitch likes options. This is not a democracy. This is my show. Love y'all. All right, let's do the 18-minute version.
Fun of it. Cardi B was on Gayle King promoting her upcoming album, Am I Pregnant? And hey. God damn it. Okay, so during the interview, Gayle went ahead and asked her, and she said yes. Like, I mean, yeah. This is the long and short.
So this is I keep on wanting to call him by his government. This is Fury and Crystal who are discussing the fact that Cardi B went on Gayle King, and in the Gayle King interview, Gayle said, Cardi, is you pregnant? And Gayle said, Cardi, are you pregnant? And Cardi finally admitted it on camera.
Of it. She's prepared to finally, I guess,
tell the truth.
Go ahead and admit it.
Yeah.
And tell the truth. And stop wasting people's time and trolling. And yeah, Gayle King asks her if there's anything that she'd like to share with the class. That's literally how she works.
She did say that.
And Cardi said, yes, she is pregnant with her boyfriend, Stefan Diggs. She said, I feel very strong, I feel very powerful. That she's still
By the way, Mike said, I enjoy the read, but Crystal can be very vitriolic in her reads, that it becomes clear that it's not about the read and very much about whatever she's going through. I actually, from a deeply compassionate place, agree. And that actually makes me want to protect her more. Funny enough, the thing that y'all thought Crystal was doing, like being a auntie giving tough love, is actually what I'm doing now. It's actually what I'm doing now. The thing that Crystal thought she did is actually what I'm doing now. Where even when I staunchly disagree, I'm going to make sure that we always humanize her and show her compassion, despite the fact that I adamantly fucking disagree with what she did. You see how that's possible? You see how it's possible to use strong language, not mince words, and still, woman to woman, not want to impede your safety psychologically just because I don't agree with you, especially if you haven't caused actual harm to anybody but yourself. The gag is the thing that y'all thought Crystal did, I'm doing right the fuck now.
Doing all of this work and doing it while creating a baby. Gail asked her, Gail said something to the effect of like, yeah, you have this album coming out and you're doing all of this work. I'm not going to ask you for a due date, but is the baby due this year or next? And Cardi just said the baby is due before I start tour. And Gail's like, when's that? February. Gail was like, so you're going on tour in February, right after having a baby. She was like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm working out. I stretch. And right after,
she stretches. She did not say she works out.
Now here was the part where I felt like I caught astray. At my big age, stretching is actually, and I've been talking to, funny enough, Mike, Bridget, my little sister, even Kendall. I've hit up all my friends like, have y'all heard about Stretch Lab? Because I want to get a Stretch Lab membership, because once you hit your 30s, you realize that working out is not enough and you can actually hurt yourself from just working out. Your bones are starting to get tired, especially if you have extra weight. And so you actually have to stretch. Me and my friends talk about stretching over 30 the way we used to talk about working out. So a pregnant woman saying that I want to stretch to keep my joints, whatever, I didn't see why that was funny. That's actually something I would say. Right, Mike? See, Mike's in here saying literally, at my age, and I'm not even pregnant, but the minute I hit my 30s, I stopped talking about working out because, and Mike will tell you, we can hurt ourselves working out. Once your bones have at a certain age, working out without stretching is actually, so this already confused me because I didn't see what was mock-worthy about someone saying, hey, I'm pregnant and about to go on tour, so I want to make sure that I keep stretching to keep myself supple for when I didn't understand this part at all.
She said, I've been stretching.
I think maybe she said exercise.
No, you wanted her to say exercise. She said stretch. That bitch said I stretched.
Hold on.
Please find it. Because I was agog. Just could not believe it.
Whoa, Cardi. You're going to go on tour in February. Yeah, you ready? I'm very ready. Oh my God, she really did say it.
I told you.
So the premise now is she's a dumb bitch for wanting to stretch instead of exercise while pregnant. And for context, Crystal has made it clear that she's not I want babies kind of person. Fury is always incredibly mindful to say that pregnancy is one of the hardest things that a woman could ever do. This is me not caping for the read. I want you guys to be fair to the read. Because again, I can disagree with what you did while still understanding your heart and also panning out the way a friend should and giving some context for blind spots. Someone who is an amazing godmother, from what I've heard, that Crystal is an amazing godmother, but who does not want to have children themselves, is going to have a hard time understanding some of the mindsets of a woman who is the opposite. Because Cardi has gone on camera and said, my grandmother had a lot of kids. I'm very close to both of my parents, mother and father. The irony is, here's the biggest irony about those of you who think hood rats. I'm gonna take this down. The biggest irony about those of you who think that hood rats can't have their own moral code, or that hood rats can't be even mildly respectable, because the minute you see a hood rat, everything about respectability politics goes out the window, is that the irony is, unlike many of us who do social commentary for a living, Cardi B has a mother and a father who are both active parts of her lives, who are helping her raise her kids. And she fell in love with the young man, got married to him, created a life with him, and then had children with him, and stayed with him for 7 years before finally having a rebound baby. She did more aligned with respectability politics than many of y'all's faves who y'all caped for, who you would have shown grace to had they been in the exact same predicament. Latinos are incredibly family oriented to the point where y'all make fun of us for it. Her husband dogged her for years. She did everything in the old school respectable way. And yet, this segment is about to talk about her as if she's a hood booger who's always hood boogered and never even tried to do the things the right way. But that's factually untrue. So, again, I'm going to use me as an example, right? As a Black woman who speaks with a diction that makes white people feel very comfortable. If I, Bluecentric, with this voice box and the level of education and bourgeoisness that I have as a Black woman, even as an Afro-Latina, so this is comparing apples to apples. If I said, bruh, that dude I talked to last year broke my heart, took advantage of me when I was vulnerable and I got pregnant, but I love this baby and I've always wanted a child, so I'm going to keep it. You guys would wrap me up in love. If I, Bluecentric, was less respectable than Cardi and said, that nigga who wasted my time last year got me pregnant, but I've always wanted a baby, and he's a piece of shit, and there are allegations against him, and there are whole threads on Reddit about the shit that he's done to scam women. He was a horrible choice, but he got me when I was vulnerable. And now I'm about to have his baby, and you know what? He told me he was going to keep me safe, and I believed him. None of you would even think of talking about me like that. I never got married. I've been engaged twice, didn't get married. Cardi got married. I didn't spend 7 years. I'll leave. I'm a Gemini Venus child. Don't fuck around with me. I'll leave you. You got to keep it cute or you're going to get left. I've never stuck with anybody for 7 years after they played in my face. I don't have a mother and a father in a nuclear family. My daddy had outside families. I have 7 siblings who are not from my mother. Technically, on paper, I'm a bigger hood rat than Cardi B. On paper. But I talk like this, and I'm educated, and your respectability politics loves rooting for and showing grace to a woman like me. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I can't rock with this one.
Getting my body ready. That means...
She just said, I'm getting my body ready. I stretch it out.
Yep. I told you.
My brain.
You wanted to hear exercise so bad.
I wanted to hear it. I didn't hear it.
No, because she's not doing that. Because she's not doing that. She's telling the truth. She's stretched.
Okay.
She's stretching.
Okay. She's stretching.
Yep.
And she said, as soon as she gives birth, it's tour rehearsal. Now, let me tell you something.
Okay.
People who get pregnant, people who have been pregnant, people who work while pregnant, work after. I think you're all wizards.
Can we give and here's the thing, as someone who has done podcasts with co-hosts who I didn't agree with, but we had to have a united front for the sake of just having their back and keeping them safe because the public is so nasty. I will tell you, Bridget will tell you, anybody who's ever podcasted with a co-host will tell you, I don't give a fuck if you say something I don't agree with on camera. There's only but so much I'm going to check you on camera because I want to keep you safe from the public that wants us to argue. The public is messy. We don't know how Fury might feel in real life, but on the show, I think he did an excellent job of infusing grace, even while Crystal's laughing. And he didn't do it to throw Crystal under the bus. I don't think you guys understand how hard this was for Fury. We're not giving Fury enough credit. His friend had a hot take that was spicy and was going to get a reaction. And he still made it a point to not embarrass her, not push back in a way that would seem combative or trigger her, while also infusing grace to pregnant women whenever he got a chance to, because he wanted to make sure that they understood that they are still loved. Because why? Cardi is a symbol. Cardi's not a person, she's a symbol, which means when you mark Cardi for her reproductive choices, by the way, guys, you will never in life hear me mock anybody. I don't give a fuck. You will never in life hear Blue Tulusma come on any platform and mock a woman for her reproductive choices. That's actually a line that I personally will never cross. I'll never cross that line. To me, when y'all used to laugh, perfect example of how sensitive I am about this. When y'all used to laugh at Kenya Moore because you hated Kenya Moore, because Phaedra said that a Domino's delivery driver had to jerk off in a cup for her to have a baby. I thought that was disgusting. I hated that moment. You all called it one of Phaedra's finest reads. I thought it was reprehensible. Reprehensible to make fun of a woman who's struggling to get pregnant, even if it is Phaedra versus Kenya. I thought it was disgusting. To this day, whenever y'all play that clip, I am grossed out. So, be clear. A line for me as a woman who at some point has wanted children is, I know how devastating it is. I know how devastating it is to want children and have a body that might not be letting you do it properly. I came on here 6 weeks ago sobbing because Bridget was supposed to come on live but had to lose her baby and was having emergency surgery. I was on here sobbing. I wasn't even a Kenya fan. For me, anything where you mock women's reproductive rights or reproductive choices is a line that I will never cross. So please save the Blue, I'm surprised that you of all people, no, me of all people, yes. This is a line for me. And to be a woman who does not want children, that means you should have even less bass in your voice. Because you don't even understand the yearning that would make her justify her behavior. You don't understand that yearning. You don't understand that yearning. I had a client, I'm not going to share too much, who could not go through with a pregnancy because she felt unsafe in her relationship and now cannot have children. And funny enough, I spent this morning listening to her sob. I had two clients. I had 2 fertility readings today with clients. 2 of them. I don't even do medical stuff. So imagine me having to listen to a woman who wanted children, who did it the respectable way, sob on the phone. 2 of them. One was just upset. The other one was actually sobbing. Imagine what it's like for me to spend my morning listening to women who were saying to me, Blue, my family told me it was a Stefan Diggs. It wasn't the right circumstance. So I didn't have the baby. And now I can't have babies anymore. So imagine me spending my morning hearing people who did it the way that y'all want regret that decision and now have to sit here and listen to y'all mock somebody who kept it a fucking stack that she wanted her baby. Imagine how that feels for me. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't stand behind this.
Mm-hmm. You're a wizard, Harry. Like, I think all of you are magic. And I respect the fuck out of y'all and your bodies and your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
How? Because
here you go asking questions.
You already have 3.
Right. Including an actual baby who just turned 1 a couple of weeks ago.
A baby.
Baby.
Your kids are little.
Yeah.
Hey guys, for those who are saying instead of having more kids, go heal your mental health. It takes 2 to make the baby. We as adults have more power in choosing and asking God for guidance. So here's the thing, guys. She said that the baby wasn't planned, but that now that the baby's here, she didn't want to have an abortion. So you're saying that because Cardi has the means to take care of her children, has a village to love on the children outside of money. So the Nick Cannon equivalencies are false. You're saying that a woman who wants children got pregnant by a man who she has strong feelings for. Both he and her want the baby. And she should let go of the baby for what now? So, for those of you who say that you're pro-choice, does that only mean the choices that you agree with? Y'all, I have not been in a healthy relationship in 3 years. If I had got pregnant any time in the last 3 years, I would have kept the baby. Not the man, but I would have kept the baby. And I promise you, y'all would not be giving me the speech. Oh my God. Tell a woman who wants a baby that she needs to have an abortion, even though she has the means and the community to take care of a child, is nasty work, y'all. It's nasty work.
And you're going to have a newborn.
Yeah.
That you're going to travel around and tour with?
4 kids, under 9, under 10. Okay. All right.
So, she did, say or imply here she has the ability to do it. Kind of like what we were just saying about
like I said.
I guess I'm rich, so nanny.
The nanny will be right there.
So
yeah.
And she also said something when talking about Stefan about how like both of them, it sounds like they're both workhorses and addicted to constantly working or doing the next thing. But when you have 4.
Do you know who else is a workhorse? Beyonce. Yeah, let's go there today. Fuck it. I'm going to choose a little bit of violence. Beyonce is the biggest workhorse in the history of music, in my opinion. And was married to a man who she admits cheated on her too. And takes no breaks. And has nannies in all her pictures with her. Why is it okay when Beyonce does it, but not Cardi? In fact, Beyonce does it more. Beyonce works so hard that every time me and Mike go to a Beyonce concert in London, we walk away tired just from watching her. I'm going to hush, but being vitriolic for someone who is preparing to do what your fave consistently has done.
For babies.
Child.
You can't, like...
That's not even counting all his kids. He allegedly has 2 or 3 on the way as well. Or just...
Excuse me.
Alleged. Now, again, this is alleged. Legit. Allegedly. Because anybody can go on Instagram and say that.
Yeah.
But he for sure already has 1 or 2. And she has the 3. Plus this one that's vacant now. So... Okay. All right.
Look.
A woman who likes children, who comes from a very strong, big family, where having a lot of children is normal, and who is constantly has her kids around her. So she's not just using money. Weren't we just dragging Cardi a couple of weeks ago because Culture was at Fashion Week because she brought her with her? So a heavily present mother who has an ecosystem, not just money, but an ecosystem to take her child, who comes from a culture that we mock for how much they love having kids, is keeping her baby. And that makes her a dumb bitch just because we hate the circumstances. My nigga, the circumstances I was born, I'm a love child. My daddy had an affair on his wife, and I'm the product of that. I wouldn't be here if what y'all said. Half of y'all wouldn't be here. This is real, y'all. This is such virtue signaling because here's the thing. I immediately understood, ooh, she's having a baby with Stefan Diggs of all people. Ugh. Well, I completely understand that reaction. I completely understand that reaction. What I don't understand is taking that reaction and throwing gasoline all over it and then talking crazy about the person who's pregnant in her 3rd trimester. That's what. So I'm not. Y'all don't have to waste your breath saying that you were stunned by the sensationalism of the circumstance. Y'all, again, my shit is sensational from a distance. And yet, when I told y'all a sensational story about my love life, you all showed up to give me grace, despite how sensational it was. That's why I'm calling bullshit, bruh. Because if this is how you felt about everybody, I would have gotten a similar smoke a couple weeks ago and I didn't. I'm sorry, y'all. It's bullshit.
I just feel like, man, it's your pussy. I'm not.
This was the moment when I realized that he didn't have an issue with Cardi living her life, even if it wasn't something that he would do. In fact, in the African-American community, we have an old saying, you like it, I love it. For those who are not Black, it means you like it, I don't love it, but it's also none of my fucking business. So Fury's take was, look, you couldn't catch me slipping like this, but I actually don't even want kids to begin with. So who am I to fucking speak on it? You like it, I love it. It's sensational, but child, who doesn't have a sensational story about some nigga? I know I do. I have plenty of sensational stories about men that I've dealt with. Embarrassing men. Men who, if you judged me based on their behavior, you would not be on this live right now fucking with me, right? So I would feel like a hypocrite condoning this take when this take low-key would mean that I would have to be canceling myself. That's the thing about this take that is so off for me is I always say that normalized dysfunction is still dysfunction. Yes. And if you show compassion for everybody else when it comes to this dysfunction, while still lovingly telling them to do better, why does the compassion only go out the window for certain people? So yes, I agree with Crystal and Fury that this is normalized dysfunction, but why is it that this level of compassion that is missing shows up for other people who are doing the exact same fucking thing, if not worse? Me included. Why do I get more grace than Cardi fucking B? I'm going to keep asking y'all that fucking question because it's the place where your hypocrisy is in the present tense. I see too many names in here of people who showed me grace 6 weeks ago, now attempting to do the opposite just because you don't like the person.
This isn't like make or break an image, like your image for me. It's just like, if Offset was to go and get some new bitch pregnant or whatever, I'd be like, yep, bird.
Sound like the type
so
of
this
dumb
is
nigga
just
shit.
like,
Yep, you a bird.
Bird shit.
And this is what birds do.
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, as far as Cardi B is concerned, I just
For those who said you did not bring a whole human being into the world while you're in dysfunction, I would have though. I'm saying I would have, guys. I'm saying that if I had gotten pregnant last year, I would have kept the baby. All told me it's okay. You're all the blue crew. You're my baby's aunties and uncles now, and that me and my baby are gonna be okay. Can we stop fucking lying? Can we stop lying? After Jamaica, I told Mike, I was like, Mike, my cycle was late. I hope to God I didn't get pregnant on vacation. And luckily, my period came eventually. Yes? So I just need y'all to understand, if this played out and I brought a human into this world, you all know, right, virtual baby shower and everything. Are y'all going to keep lying in here? Are y'all going to keep lying in here? Are y'all going to keep lying in here that you have never met a woman who you care about, who picked a wrong person while vulnerable and got pregnant and you still had her back? Are we going to pretend? Did y'all come in here to lie? Not Mike in here. Like, shit, it's time in Jamaica. Mike, they all know that you're the one who I called the morning after. They know Mike. For those who watched that 5-hour story time about how a male baddie threatened me and I ended up in Jamaica getting Mike was the phone call that I made. So y'all all know that you guys every single fucking day show grace for this. Not endorsing it, guys. Please be clear, because a lot of you love to act like comprehension is not your friend. Normalized dysfunction is still dysfunction. And yet, you can call out dysfunction without robbing someone of their dignity. That's the part that you guys are missing. You can call someone out on dysfunction without robbing them of their dignity, especially when they're doing something that impacts them. Now, one thing Crystal did say, and I'll show her video in a second, that she was doing it for the kids. My pushback is, how is you disrespecting my mother helping me? If someone on here came and said, well, Blue, your mama was your daddy's mistress and he asked her for an abortion and she had you anyways, and now you ain't got no daddy, I'd be like, not too fucking much of my mother. What the fuck are you saying? How is disrespecting someone's mother for the kids? If this was John Benet Ramsey's mother, or that lady who we believe unalived her child, that's when it makes sense to cuss out a mother. A pregnant woman in her third trimester, I'm still struggling.
Just hope this album is good and hope her kids get the parenting that they need.
Well,
and I don't have any immediate, I don't know about this album, but I don't have any immediate
exactly. Cardi B is not Casey
concerns
fucking Anthony
about the welfare of the children. It is just, I'm just like, girl, you have 3 babies already by a nigga that you admittedly hate,
right,
and have said that you wanted to murder,
and not even divorced from,
yet.
Yeah.
And
Cardi would later explain why she's not divorced, and so remember this part.
you just met this new nigga, with kids that you're still getting to know, and you're like, yep, sign me up for another one.
Yeah.
That's not a decision I would make or suggest. But hey.
No, I'm not okay with this. I can't just, oh, it's your pussy, so it's your business. Like, technically, yes, that's true. And a lot of the Cardi stans are going to respond, well, she got the money. I'm not talking about, if money was all it.
To be clear, she keeps on saying that only Cardi stans are mad. I'm not a Cardi stan. Mike might be. I love that. Mike, by the way, Cardi owes you a check. Because Mike, for those of you who are going to watch the replay, when you watch this back, we do this every episode. When you watch this back, the comment of the day is, Mike said, show Cardi some compassion. It's a full sentence. Mike, I made you the comment of the day. Because one thing I will say is that it hurts my heart that sometimes it is, Mike said, and Mike said, show Cardi some compassion. Sometimes it is men who show women more compassion when they fuck up than other women. And that is a trauma response.
Took to raise kids, the Trump kids wouldn't be held like they are. Trump wouldn't be held.
Oh, yeah, she's saying that if money is all it took to raise kids, then Trump's kids would be okay because only Cardi stans who believe that Cardi has enough money to have kids are going to disagree. Well, Crystal, unfortunately, that's not true. I'm not a Cardi stan, and I don't believe that money is the reason why she should have a baby. I think the fact that she has an entire family of mothers, grandmothers, aunties who love her babies, and the fact that she's with her babies a lot and takes them everywhere with her and is loving on them and is showing them the world in the same way that Beyonce does, that we clap for. I think that if we're clapping for Beyonce going on tour right after having kids, I think if we are clapping for Beyonce bringing her kids with her everywhere because she wants them to see the world through the lens of having an iconic mother, that it's weird now to get mad about Cardi and her rebound baby, because here's the gag. Here's the gag. If Beyonce had left Jay-Z after Lemonade, said, fuck this, maybe me and Julia should give it a chance, and she got pregnant by Julius as a rebound, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. I think we would all be standing and caping and squealing. Fuck it. If Beyonce knocked her head and said, Jay-Z played in my face too fucking much, I want to go have sex with insert up and coming the next Aaron Pierre. Right? If Beyonce broke up with Jay-Z after Lemonade, after she was married, just like Cardi, did it the right way, just like Cardi, got played with publicly, just like Cardi, and met an NFL nigga who's friends with Russell Wilson, who's known for being a dog, but who claims that Beyonce is so amazing, he's willing to change for her, we would all be fucking applauding, and if you say otherwise, you are lying. If Cardi was Beyonce and did all the same things, you would be cackling and saying, that's what the fuck that fucking Jay-Z gets for playing in her face. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? Can we be honest? If Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter got tired of Jay-Z after Lemonade, finally broke up with him, and got pregnant on a rebound, we'd all be obsessed with this. and say, we don't even care about the rebound nigga. We're just happy that she's thriving out here. Her baby will be okay. Mama Tina can babysit. Would we not? Come on, bro. I'm sorry.
Like he is. It's not just money. You also need parents who are very mindful and deliberate about bringing you into the world.
Who says she's not being deliberate about bringing her into the world just because she didn't mean to get pregnant? Are we saying that if a woman gets pregnant unintentionally, she can't be mindful after the fact? I'm now out of my emotional bag, and this is pure logic. This is where my autism is having. This is where my autism started to ping. Like, wait a minute, but who said she's not being mindful? She's actually always said and shown the opposite.
And choosing to guide you to adulthood. That is how we raise decent, good people. Yo mama out here giving her pussy to whoever the fuck she wants to and keeping whatever y'all drop off in her fucking uterus is crazy.
Wow. Your mama up here dropping, your mama's up here giving it up to whoever wants it and keeping whatever they drop off in her uterus. Wow. I'm not new to the read. I understand this is the premise of the show. I'm not dense. I'm also someone who's been doing social commentary responsibly for over a decade. Many of your favorite celebrities have called the griot or Jason Lee or whoever to complain about my hot takes. I know what it's like to tote the line of being sensational while also making a painful point. This is what I do. This is my superpower. And I, from a place of expertise, am saying that this was a misstep. As someone who does this for a living and has been doing it as long as both Crystal and Fury. We can't, just because I'm new to some of y'all doesn't mean I'm new to this. Right? I was on the front lines on CNN the first week that Bill Cosby had his allegations. That was 2014, guys. It's now 2025. So I have been on the news doing provocative pop culture hot takes for over a decade. Professionally. And as someone who does this for a living, that was nasty.
I was expecting so much more out of Cardi B because you are not just some broke, bored bitch in the Bronx who don't have shit else to do. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do today. I ain't got no money to go out. Let me just fucking get pregnant. Like you.
When did she ever say that? When did she ever say that? She never said that. She said, I was heartbroken. I was devastated. Women who would come into the rap game, who I thought were my friends, would smile on my face, and I would later find out that they were fucking my husband. For years, everybody and their mother has been attacking me as a woman because my man can't keep his dick in his pants. I've been getting blamed for his actions for years. And I finally met a man who said he wanted to keep me safe. And y'all might not have believed him because he has a bad reputation, but in that moment, I believed him. None of this is what... Wow.
You have a life. You have a career. You have things to work towards and work for. Like, I just cannot.
Well, she's a street bitch. I think this show is older than her.
Shout out to Fury for doing so much heavy lifting. He said, but she's a street bitch. Like, you're freaking out about things that are probably not
time in a strip club. Like she you know what I mean? Like she's Cardi B, yes, and Met Gala now. And you would like to think that people will go, oh wow, things to live for, access time to do better and be better.
Or having 3 kids already, maybe because you have so much money, it's not really hitting you because other people are doing so much of the actual day-to-day childcare work.
How do you know that? There's literally videos of my phone of Cardi taking her kids to school. How do you know that? Crystal, love it. Oh, Crystal, baby, I get it. Crystal is not a bad person. None of this is, oh, Crystal, I know you're not a bad person. We have too many mutuals who speak so highly of you. So highly. I was on Jade and Kita's podcast, and me and Jade were really, really getting close before me and my best friend fell out. And because I met Jade through him, of course she picked him. I made Jade, I completely understand why you would choose him, especially considering he was lying on me and saying things about me that were untrue. But when me and Jade were tight, Jade spoke so highly of Crystal. Right? She spoke so highly of Crystal that I know Crystal is a good person. And that's why this hurts, but it's also why this is a teachable moment that you could be a good person and still unintentionally slip into very classist. I actually think that what Crystal did in this read is more dangerous than Cardi keeping her baby. That's the gag. This rhetoric, normalizing this rhetoric and making it seem like Black women have to speak like white men to each other as a place of tough love, to me, that's more dangerous than Cardi keeping her fucking baby. A baby that she made with a man that she loves, whether you agree with her or not.
Maybe it's not hitting you how much kids really do need a solid foundation and need their parents to be.
So you think that she had 3 fucking kids while married and doesn't know how much kids need? Babe, this is all a fail.
Locked in and engaged with them. You say, oh, well, my kids are fine because it's an assortment of nannies to take care of them 24/7. Your children will be hurting for the lack of their father's presence in their life. If their father is either lacking because he's a healthy, great dad who's simply not around anymore, or lacking because they deserve a healthy, great dad who's not there and never was there because that's not Offset or who he is or what he does. Either way, the children lose. Blossom just turned 1, meaning you were fully pregnant. You talking about going on tour in February.
I know we said we're doing the full, or we're halfway through, because I was about to be like, this is actually painful to listen to. Here's the thing too. As a person who now has been listening to the read religiously for a couple of years, and who went back during the pandemic and listened to because I started listening to the read a lot during the pandemic when there was nothing to do. And they're very talented. A lot of podcasters in the Black space stand on their shoulders, right? I think what's happening here is a lack of evolution. I think the read could be fun and vitriolic at a time when we didn't understand the damage of being fun and vitriolic. I think Fury has evolved in his reads because life has lifed him. But I think Crystal has settled into the finger-wagging auntie role and didn't recognize that the audience has evolved and needs a little bit more than that.
All right, it's mid-September now. So I'm guessing that means you're knocking on your last trimester?
Right, I would guess.
So you're going to give birth to this baby probably near the end of the year, towards the top of the year, and then spend 6 weeks in surgery and tour rehearsal to then do what?
Cardi literally said she doesn't want to have surgery anymore. Here's my thing was there no research? Y'all know that when I come on here to do a read on someone and to go off on someone, what's the first thing I say? I got a bucket of receipts. I was up last night for 6-7 hours looking everything up, checking it twice, dotting my I's and crossing my T's. I, as someone who's been doing social commentary for a very long time, will tell you that the more vitriolic and or angry my read is going to be, the more research that I have a responsibility to do. I do more research when I know I'm about to be pissed off to make sure that I'm not wrong. So the fact that she keeps on saying things that are factually inaccurate that a Google search could have cleared up, Cardi literally said she doesn't want to have any more surgeries. So you're about to go on a whole tangent about something that she's blatantly said she doesn't want to do anymore.
Go on stage and do fucking nothing. I went back and watched Cardi B's performances after she came back after having Culture. Some of the most boring shit you ever seen in your life. And not because of the performance itself. Oh, it's great colors and costumes and dancers and musicians. There's a bunch of shit going on. You know who not doing nothing? Cardi. Laying down on a fucking round table and letting that shit spin around for half the fucking performance and then getting up.
Wait, we didn't mind it when Rihanna just stood there during the Super Bowl because she was pregnant. We didn't mind it when Beyonce had a foot injury and had to stand there doing the riff to Drunken Love in Dubai. And I also have video of Cardi pregnant dancing her ass off in my phone.
and having niggas salsa dance her and twirl her ass around on stage for a little while. She don't do shit. You waited all this goddamn time to release another album just to get pregnant in the middle of this album being done and preparing for the... Why? Why, bitch? Why? You don't know how to use your butt? You never heard of condoms? You never heard of the IUD? You never heard of the pill? You decided to get pregnant by the nigga you cheated on your husband with? Why?
In the album, she literally says that she never cheated on her husband. That's public fodder.
This is just dumb bitch shit. This is so fucking stupid. You are bringing a whole new person into the world, girl. It's not playtime. It's not that ugly ass Labubu Kid Fury just got. It's not some toy you can just toss around and it don't matter how it feel about nothing. It don't matter about its circumstances. This is a human being.
Do you know how dangerous it is to attack someone's motherhood this heavily? Do you know how... In 2025, when someone who said, "Your body, my choice," was just unalived by an extremist on his own side. In 2025, when state by state, we're slowly losing our federal rights for reproductive rights as women. In 2025, when this actual clip would be like fucking catnip for the RNC, the gag is, if a white person, if Megyn Kelly made the same speech about Cardi B, the read would do a read on her. If Megyn Kelly was to say all of the things that Crystal is saying, word for word, bar for bar, the read would read them for filth. And we would recognize that as racism. And yet when it's a black woman saying it to about another woman of color, y'all can debate about what color Cardi is later. Suddenly now it's tough love. Is it possible that black people can have tough love that is still rooted in racism and classism? Is it possible that internalized racism is still whipping our asses, especially when we're proudly country? Because Crystal is proudly from Oklahoma, and there is nobody I know who is beaten by the stick of respectability politics more than people in the country, because it's a very family first era, and the RNC loves to spoon feed conservatives America, country, God first rhetoric. And so if it's kicking my ass and I was raised in Boston, I know it's kicking your ass if you were raised in Oklahoma. It's more heavy-handed. I come from an age of where Boston was considered where the liberal elites live. And yet I just told a story about how I beat a bitch's ass when I was 8 years old for Jesus. I was thumping bitches for Christ. I come from progressive ass Boston, Massachusetts, the belly of the beast of white supremacy when it comes to intellectual foolishness, right? Mike from Boston too, he'll tell you we real fucking smart out there. If there was ever a black person who would be an elite, it would be someone like me who went to private schools my entire life, right? From private schools to working at Harvard. I'm who would understand this, Crystal, and yet I healed, and so it no longer makes sense. I healed, and so it no longer makes sense. And the only people who are more bourgeois when it comes to respectability politics about black people than the black elites in the North is the ones in the South. Y'all had like Jack and Jill and stuff. Mike said Crystal is emotionally intelligent, but an emotionally intelligent person, kryptonite is their own trauma. Ooh! Damn, Mike. Well, Mike, we might have to have you come back on the show, because I feel like I'm not going to be the only one catching bullets on here. Did you just see my face with your comments? Woo! Sorry, the reason I keep taking breaks is because this is so nasty that like it makes my stomach turn, and I'm trying to like push through for y'all because we got about like 5 minutes left.
Don't listen. It's you look completely.
I just can't believe this dumb bitch. of all the time. You had so much time to push out however many kids you fucking wanted to. You chose the most pivotal moment, getting ready to release your sophomore album and finally go on tour because you canceled it the last time. Why? Kids. To finally do that shit. And now you're like, oh, as soon as I'm ready. I've been stretching. I'm getting my body ready. You're getting ready to go lay down and pray that mommy makeover don't kill you like it do so many other women. And then
you're gonna lay down and pray that mommy makeover doesn't kill you. Like, yo, bro, this is nasty work. I actually do not think I can stomach the rest. I actually think I can't. I don't think I can. Here's the thing, guys, and this is something, and Crystal's a Virgo. I'm a triple Virgo, and I always joke that having this much Virgo in my chart is a learning disability. Virgo's ability to tap into vitriol needs to be studied by scientists. That's why a lot of y'all be like, oh, Blue's about to get mad. It's the Virgo in me. And though I am also healed and healing, which means that I do enough work to counterbalance the Virgo desire to hurt people. Because I will tell you, growing up, my favorite tagline when I would get into fights growing up was, why break bones when I can break spirits? I know that sounds horrible. I did break a lot of spirits, right? So as someone who could very easily do a read like this, I will say this, as gross as I find what she's saying, I could easily do it too without even breaking a sweat. Violence comes very easily to me. So I'm not going to virtue signal and pretend like I'm incapable of what Crystal did. I just don't need to do it anymore because I've healed and I've done the work. Doing it no longer makes sense when you've healed and done the work. And I love that she and Fury are very honest about the work that they have done. And I will also say that regression is a thing. It is very possible that you can do the work and work on yourself and be great, and then you turn 40 or have some kind of milestone like that, and life didn't turn out the way you expected, and unexpectedly you regress without noting it. So I do believe that Crystal has done the work previously. I do think, though, that her doubling down on this and saying, y'all must not know my show, I'm always like this, rather than saying, girl, you might have regressed and need some maintenance. I think that's a misstep. I'm going to try to listen a little bit more, but my stomach really is turning.
And do you a little boom cack 1-2 sidestep on that fucking tour. I hope you girls are ready for her to give you fucking nothing.
Oh my God.
But unnatural hips, a ridiculous looking what I guarantee you, like she said, she gonna have Hennessy put her in that fucking faja 3 seconds after she's done giving birth, because don't nothing matter to her more than the way she looks. An actual show, you can forget about it.
Put in what?
A faja, you know, the girdle that the
that's what it's
the girl, yeah.
So I'm gonna take this down because I actually can't stomach this anymore. So let's go right into reactions. I'm not angry at Crystal. I'm hurting for the part of her that had an opportunity to grow from this, that publicly she's claiming won't grow from this. I hope that she's lying to y'all and is actually working on herself, even though she doesn't want to give you the satisfaction of an apology. I hope to God that her response, but let's play some reactions. Okay, quick question. Do y'all want to go to Crystal's reaction first, or do you want to go to the response first? Because Gloria, you're right, my stomach hurts. For those who said the truth was used as a bridge, do you still agree? Remember I said earlier, because you know we still always have class in here, the truth is honorable when it is a bridge that is meant to connect and clarify. The truth is dishonorable when it is a shield against accountability and a sword being used to cut people down. Do y'all think this was a bridge or a sword, class? Now that you've experienced it, do y'all think this was a bridge or a sword? Be fucking honest. Be fucking honest. Mike said, let's go to Cardi's response. No, Mike, we have to have Crystal's response. Mike, I will say, having one of my friends read a Cardi stand is hilarious because you're keeping it honest. All right, let's go to, somebody said Blue was a machete. I agree. Here's the thing that makes me scared. So the thing you just answered the question. What Crystal did wasn't just a sword, it was a machete. But here's the thing, though. She has been spoon-feeding her audience machetes for quite a while. And so they think it was a bridge. Let's watch some reactions real quick.
I truly do believe that the rapture is coming because y'all have absolutely lost it. I had no idea that this Cardi and Crystal thing would be the topic of the entire day. And the takes that I am seeing are wild. absolutely wild, because we have gone from she's so mean, they shouldn't be policing people's bodies and blah, 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 to she's fat and ugly, and why is she saying this about Cardi?
People being offended by the things that Crystal said on the read about Cardi B and her pregnancy lets me know, maybe we are soft.
Do you see the damage? We just heard someone on a podcast mic spend 18 minutes. I can only stomach about 11 of it. We just heard someone spend the better part of an entire segment mocking someone's choices for their reproductive health, alleging that she's not a good mother and thinks money is a bandit on everything, even though that's what Nick Cannon said, not Cardi. So let's not get Cardi B and Nick Cannon mixed up, two different people. Alleged that she was not good at what she did, that anybody who invests money in her and her brand are going to get got. So undermining her success, even though she just made history. Said, well, I hope you don't drop dead on the doing your mommy makeover like all those other dumb bitches like you. Just said some really nasty things that made the stomachs of everybody in here who I have implored to listen with a compassionate yet accountable lens. We got sick because I gave y'all permission and the context and the framework to show grace to both Crystal and Cardi while still recognizing the objective damage that can come from using a platform to attack someone's reproductive rights in this political ecosystem, right? And yet, because of the tough love auntie rhetoric that is being spoon-fed to the audience who listens to the show, this girl's like, oh man, we are soft. We soft. I don't think I'm soft, y'all.
You know, they love to say that this generation's soft. Maybe we are soft. Because what do you mean? What do you... we are snowballing into conservatism. It is so apparent. And then
you see the irony that she thinks we're snowballing into conservatism for thinking that those words were vitriolic. The way y'all be using these words wrong.
Using the defense, my grandma had like 15 kids by the time she was 25. Your grandmother was a victim. Take it a step further. Your mothers who had babies at 19, 20, also victims. What are we talking about?
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I've been sitting here trying to figure out, why don't I care about Cardi B having 202 with two different men while she's still married? Like, y'all care about Cardi B having 202 with two different men while she's still married. And it's like, well, let's break it down. First, people keep highlighting that she's still married, and it's like, y'all, no, she not. No, she not for real. When was the last...
Y'all know how many people in the Black and brown community have that uncle and auntie who've been married for 20 years and haven't lived with each other for 18? And they're not millionaires. Are we really going to pretend that
that marriage meant something to either of them? Why are we bringing up that white man's paperwork? Offset didn't care that he was married. Why should she care that she married? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be divorced soon. Like, whatever. It don't matter. Nothing left to do in that marriage but file and stamp, okay? Like, it's not whatever.
Yes, I'm having a baby with somebody else.
Cardi's now about to explain why the she's married thing is bullshit.
So what? That happens. It's life. Let me tell you something. I did things the correct way the first time. I fell in love. I got 2 rings in my finger. I lasted 7 years. 7 years that I didn't have to last with somebody with. I lasted 7 years in a marriage. Stop saying, oh, but you're still married. No, I'm legally separated. The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for their taxes. Y'all want to know the tea? The only way I could get out of my marriage if I pay for somebody else's taxes, even though I pay for my own, and give them one of my properties.
So she's admitting that she is actually being blackmailed, and Offset will not. She's alleging that Offset will not let her go through with her divorce because he wants her to pay millions in taxes on his behalf. This is why y'all gotta be careful talking about people's business. Somebody said, I know off to cheat is somewhere sick after her putting her through hell. Yeah.
I'm fighting for that. I'm gonna fight for that. This is not no love and like I said, I'm not gonna stop living my life because on a contract.
How do you know she didn't use condoms, guys? People get pregnant even when they use condoms, and now that she is pregnant, so what do you want her to do? You want her to retroactively use condoms? No, I want you guys to tell me. She's already pregnant. We teach this in class, that time travel is how people let their egos sound like they're smart when they're just being mean. If we don't time travel, that comment makes no sense, my love. She's already pregnant, so she can't go back in time and unpregnant herself. So, okay, she could have used condoms, and if my daddy had been a good person, I might not have needed so much therapy. Now what? I'm not picking y'all. I just need y'all to understand that when you critique from a place of time travel about things that literally mean nothing and can't do nothing past the point, it's not intelligent critique. It's just adding noise. I have four friends who got pregnant on birth control. And they actually say that when you just had a baby, you're extra fertile. So we actually are assuming she didn't use condoms. We're doing the same thing that Crystal did.
In fact, I'm practically still married because somebody want to hold me hostage if I don't give them millions of dollars to get out of it.
I'ma say it because y'all scary and I'm not scary because I can't get no whooping. Cardi B is on her fourth child from her second baby daddy. Your mama had 6 kids. Only the first 2 got the same daddy. They really don't even got the same daddy. It's just that the man met your mama when the first child was like 5-6 months, and he just took on the first child and the second child. He left your mama. Your mama went on to have 4 more kids from 4 different men. And you are on the internet doing think pieces on Cardi B and her 2 baby daddies. Get away!
Listen, I love to read. I love Crystal. I love Kid Fury. However, that rant was a bit parasocial. That rant was indeed a little parasocial because it had me thinking, sister, do you know her in real life? Do you talk to her? Why are you so disappointed? Like, I would have thought that they actually were very close friends and she was talking to her like she knew her. But when you take into account that Crystal does not know Cardi B from a can of paint, it looks insane. Going on a 10-minute rant about somebody else's uterus does look insane.
Somebody said they're mad at Cardi because they can't cuss out their moms. Ooh. I don't want to speak on people's families. I will say that women who are highly educated but come from, let's say, a Caribbean background or an African background or a country Southern background, who grew up with mothers who really super valued standing by your man and having a large family and all those things. And those mothers didn't keep them safe. And those girls move away and become better and smarter and get educated and get degrees and have success and make tons of money. A lot of those girls end up having disdain, like vitriolic disdain, for other women who made choices more aligned with the mothers who failed them. I am not saying that it's Crystal's story, but I'm saying that a lot of you in here who cannot stand the Cardis of the world because of the matriarchs that the Cardis of the world remind you of, because those matriarchs didn't keep you safe. And you associate that archetype with a lack of safety for those children. You are often the ones who are quick to dehumanize these women who are not your mothers, because you fear that what happened to you will happen to their children. Cardi B isn't your mother. And I'm sorry if your mother or any other matriarch in your life made you feel so triggered by seeing a complete stranger unintentionally remind you of her. I'm not saying that to Crystal. I'm saying it to anybody who it applies to. A lot of you in here have mothers and sisters and aunties and grandmas who chose a man and who chose love over keeping her children safe. And despite the fact that you don't know Cardi B, a lot of the anger you feel towards her actually belongs to them. And what's sad is, I do believe Cardi loves her kids. I don't believe Cardi's going to do to her kids what your mother did to you. And yet you got on a platform and potentially made her pay for a sin that she didn't commit. And might be doubling down and saying, but I'm doing it for the kids. That's when I knew it was trauma. And Crystal's response that we're going to listen to in a second, Crystal said, I'm doing it for the kids. Baby, you are the kids. You are the kids. And here's the thing. What if Crystal has a wonderful relationship with her mother and nothing I said applies to her? You see how you can speculate and also leave room for the fact that you're speculating? I don't know if that's Crystal's story. I'm just telling you why some people might agree with Crystal, thinking that Crystal's making sense, when Crystal is just giving them a reason to justify projecting their trauma onto archetypes of the person who actually hurt them. I've always looked out for the kids. Baby, you are the kids.
What that therapist said about Cardi B in that podcast, you know, she probably wasn't wrong. It's just that the stupid dumbass bitch doesn't know how to fucking talk to people. That
That's
bitch is
disrespectful.
stupid as shit.
Sir, that's
How are you a
disrespectful.
therapist but you lack fucking empathy, you dumbass hoe?
That's me.
Okay, girl. I'm gonna say this. Crystal was definitely.
By the way, do you see how disrespectful he was? Do you see how disrespectful he was? I intentionally put that in there because I want you to see the difference between him and I. What's going to happen, because a lot of you are lazy, and even Crystal keeps on saying, oh, only Cardi stands. I'm not a Cardi stan. Mike is, but I'm not. I'm going to keep reminding you guys of that, right? You see how he and I both disagree with what she did, but what he said feels very different from what I said. It's possible that there can be a group of people disagreeing with you, and they're doing it for very different reasons with very different approaches. That man called her all types of dumb bitches and kept it moving. I've spent 2 hours trying to give her grace. Not everybody who disagrees with you is a dumb Cardi bitch stan. Like, just be very clear. We are not the same. That's why I posted that clip, even though it really hurt my feelings. That was so mean. Oh my God.
Like, girl, Stefan Diggs is not ugly. Nobody gives about Offset. Like, nobody cares about Offset.
But Stefan is not ugly.
That was that she's still married. Girl, I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. I just do not like the promotion of telling women that they're weak if they're not willing to work themselves to death during and after pregnancy.
Y'all, I did not want to talk about this, but I'm gonna have to. And I must say, I really, really love this podcast. Like, this podcast has been around for a very, very long time, y'all. But this past episode, y'all, let me just say what I want to say. I'm used to her reads. I'm used to her like talking shit. I just feel like she was always known for.
Oh, by the way, this clip, my mother kept me safe, so that's why I don't feel no way. Honestly, can I admit my mother kept me safe too? Anything unsafe that happened to me wasn't because my mother didn't try. So I think, honestly, a part of me, despite the fact that I have deep childhood trauma, the reason why I don't get triggered by the Cardi B's of the world is because I don't have a mother figure who she reminds me of. That's a great point, actually.
You know, kind of like being like outspoken, very bold voice. You kind of like me. So a lot of people were saying that it was the tone. It was not the tone, y'all. Like, this is the first time that I have like just heard her like make a comment, or because she was going in on Nick Cannon.
For those who said loving your kids prevents you from hurting them through your irresponsible choices, speaking from your personal experience is still a valid take. Yes, it's a valid take, but do you see how the pronouns in that are your? The pronouns are yours. She didn't speak about her kids and how she's preventing it. She spoke about somebody else from a place of assumption and vitriol. So the pronouns matter, babe.
Or whatever, but it just seems like her read started to shift. Like, it had started to sound real personal more than just, hey, let's just talk about this topic. It didn't sound like, hey, it sounded like she was Cardi B best friend and they weren't friends no more. It felt like that.
I think the thing that aggravates me the most about this Crystal and Cardi B situation is that everybody feel as though because we have these cameras and because we have these apps that their opinion and their mindset on things is just 100% factual, and it's not. We don't know these people. These people don't know us. So some of our opinions, some of our mindsets, some of the things that we say are based upon the small snippets of things that's put out publicly.
Perfect. I love that she said that. Why? Have you guys noticed that the only time I go off on people on social media, this is for those of you who think that being a cultural critic is just screaming and going viral, who don't understand how much thoughtfulness I put in my hot takes. I only go off on what is publicly and blatantly confirmable, right? I'm going to use the Ace example again. Ace publicly took a kill shot at his friends who publicly had his back until they realized that he was working for the ops, and then publicly looked heartbroken by his actions. And then Ace publicly doubled down. I go off when things are malicious and obvious. The second I have to assume, I always take the bass out of my voice when I have to assume. Which is why y'all notice Ace got a lot of smoke, but Shelly didn't with me. You see how I'm Team Olandria and Team Nicolandria by marriage, and yet I've never gone off on Shelly. Even when Mike and I did our live about do we owe Shelly grace, I made him sit with me, shout out to Mike, and did a case study where we went through the receipts, and I waited until we went through the receipts before we came to a verdict because I didn't want to assume. The minute you have to assume, you have to ease up. And that's why I think I've been doing this for so long and not been canceled, even though I constantly go viral for having very provocative takes. People have said, Blue, have you not been canceled? Because I'm not doing it to be provocative. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about the right thing. Right? So just be clear. A lot of you think that just reading people is how you go viral. No, reading people is how you go viral once. Having integrity and doing research and knowing the difference between assumption versus quantifiable fact and adjusting your base based on where they plot, that is how you have longevity.
We don't know the day in and day outs of these people at all. So everything that we say can be taken with a grain of salt because it's just our opinion on what we're able to see. Yep. And speaking on somebody else being a mother and there's no receipts or proof of being that she's being anything less than is ridiculous to me. Because Cardi B is doing what every other woman in the world is doing when it comes down to having kids. Doing the best she can to do what she can while still making sure that everybody's straight. Hers is just not a 9 to 5. Hers is not shift work. Hers is based upon tour dates, sitting in the studio, recording music, going out and doing whatever it is that she can do to bring a bag home to make sure that the children that she has live a life that she was not able to live and was not given to her. And if anything you should be doing about that, it should be clapping your hands, not creating a read piece because you don't understand it, especially being that you can't understand it because you don't have no children. And I'm honestly not even one of those people who feel as though because you don't have children, you can't speak on things. I think that if you don't have children, there's some things that you just can't understand. Because in order to understand some things, you have to go through some things. And if you haven't yet went through that, then your opinions on how it should go, what it should look like, and the ins and outs of it should never be coming out of your mouth because that's a part of life that you haven't lived yet. So leave that up to the people that have. And when it comes down to the whole Cardi B being pregnant for her new boyfriend, her divorce not final, why she didn't have kids, this, that, and the third, hell, she probably don't know why she didn't end up having another kid or whatever, the way that her and Offset was getting it in and pushing them out. She probably don't know. But what happened, happened. And what do y'all want her to do about it? Be upset that they got other women claiming to have the same father of their children as well? What y'all want her to do? What Cardi B is living is regular life. What Cardi B is going through is regular stuff. The only reason why it's so heavily discussed is because of who she is and what she's doing in her life. Other than that, everybody know a little Sarah down the street, a little Christina a couple of streets over. Everybody know another Future somewhere. Everybody know another Offset somewhere. This is regular stuff that's happening to these people. But y'all are so judgmental because they're in a different tax bracket. Money don't buy change people. Money don't put you in a situation to where you don't end up encountering trifling, to where you don't end up encountering heartbreak, to where you don't end up encountering lies. So I don't understand why y'all have people's lives on a pedestal, because life gon' life no matter how much money you make, no matter how big your name is, and no matter what you doing in life, it's still gon' life. And you still gonna have to figure it out. You still only gonna get it right sometimes, and the other times you may not, but you will learn from the times that you don't.
While I would not have necessarily been the friend to Cardi B to
he reminds me of Mike for some reason
that she go have this child with Stefan, my issue with Crystal's take is that excuse me, is that she's operating from this assumption that Cardi's children are not being like well taken care of or attended to by Cardi and Offset. Like she's giving this general opinion, well, this opinion that will be generally understood, that's like,
somebody said, Valerie, fighting your husband's side chicks and not holding him accountable. How do you know she didn't hold him accountable? Did you have a camera in the house? That's a really big, bold assumption to make. How do you know she didn't hold him accountable? You can't do that in here, love. That's a huge assumption. How do you know that she did not hold him accountable? That's a statement. Why are y'all so comfortable making statements that you literally could not make? How do you know she didn't hold him accountable? Because it didn't happen on camera? So you think the only things that happened on camera happened? You said be fucking for real, right? Be for real? You be for real. How do you know that someone who you didn't live with and didn't have cameras on 24/7 didn't hold somebody accountable privately? Y'all keep saying shit that you have no way of knowing.
Like, okay, when you have kids, they need time and they need attention, and you got to raise them to be good people, and you got to be present, blah, 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 whatever. So if you're, that's understood. But if your whole rant, you're trying to like pose it like it's based off of that, which we all know it isn't. But since that's what you're trying to use, let's use that. And the thing is, enable for that to be valid as it pertains to Cardi. Again, it's generally understood, but as it pertains to Cardi, you're operating off of an assumption that her children that she already has are not being attended to properly or efficiently by her. Like, you don't know that. Having 3 kids is a lot. And
you just go straight to where.
So let's go to the people who are Team Crystal, because I do want to make sure this is balanced.
How the hell would I know?
If you ever needed to know anything about me, it's that I agree with everything that Crystal said. Y'all don't take childbirthing, being a mom, being a parent seriously at all. I don't understand what the argument is. I don't understand. Y'all don't like that Crystal said it like that? You don't like the way she said it? Cardi B is not exempt from being a mom when you have a kid. You're not exempt from raising your children. You're not exempt from being a good mom. And then
So who said she's not raising her children? You guys. The internet has this really nasty habit, and this is where my autism goes way off. The internet has this nasty habit of speaking in absolutes about things that are impossible for them to speak in absolutes about. Have you know? This young lady is about to make a video about an entire premise that's not steeped in reality, but they make cool talking points. Mike said we don't need to hear people that agree with Crystal. Mike, I'm being fair, friend. Mike, I am being fair. Mike's a Leo, so he's already done with the other side. I have to be fair. But like, do you notice that every single one of these statements are something that she has no way of knowing for sure?
Wow. Like she said, you're going to have a baby with a nigga you just met, a nigga you barely even know.
How do you know she barely knows?
Now has other kids coming. Y'all just bring kids into this world, babies into this world, and don't have any regard for them as people.
How do you know that? Wait, what?
Those are human beings that have to grow up and become people. That have to even just be alive right now. You're going to give birth to a baby and then go on tour.
Like Beyonce did? But we clapped and then we said we were obsessed with the baby. Okay, let's fast forward. Let's go to someone who is in the middle. So I'm ending with the 2 people who are in the middle because I'm in the middle.
Typically, if you don't necessarily have the desire to have children, you are never truly gonna understand someone's desire for having children. What I've seen in more recent years is an uptick in people having conversations specifically centered around women having lots of children, children out of wedlock, children with multiple men. While I can understand there's absolutely conversations to have about proper family planning and when you should bring a child in this world and what those decisions look like for each person and how can we be a better community to kind of give people good advice, I think that unfortunately we've got to a point where it's no longer advice and it's now kind of like scolding, chastising, and embarrassment almost.
Did you hear that? We are clocked when the GOP made trad wives a thing via TikTok in order to breed conservatism to conservatives, right? Like there's a level of moderates who are now leaning conservative who were lured in. They were lured in by trad wives' lives and didn't realize that was also part of the machine that was making sure that Donald Trump got elected again. And yet we didn't realize that they were also doing it on the progressive side. And that's why they intentionally pump out baby mama rhetoric on social media. The algorithm isn't just what you want. The algorithm sometimes will spoon feed you things and make you think you want it. And so now there's been an uptick in traffic around anti-baby mama sentiments, even though women have been getting pregnant for the beginning of time, because they want to make progressives be tired of pregnant hood rats. And so what's ended up happening is progressive women are sounding a lot like the trad wives while claiming to be progressive. Humiliating Black women for getting pregnant has now become a trend for the last 2 or 3 years. That's a whole other life in itself.
As a longtime Read listener, I've been listening to the Read since it came out, since I was in high school. It's like Crystal's read of Cardi was surprising, but it wasn't at the same time. That was very reminiscent of old school Crystal 2014 of episodes that they done deleted.
So I'm doing this from a fan because I want a fan who understands the ecosystem of the show to speak from a fan perspective about what she did like or didn't like. Because again, I still want to be fair.
Scrapped, archived. You can't even fucking listen to them bitches in the public no more. You probably got to go to the dark net. You feel me? Because they were so out of pocket that they took them down. Honestly, the whole episode this past week really did give like old school, just with everything going on in the world, but it really did give old school Read. And please don't come up here shitting on Crystal, because like I said, I love Crystal and Fury. I've been listening for over a decade at this point.
Beyonce has nannies though.
It catches you off guard. I think everyone's caught off guard is because, you know, we evolve. She's gone to school. You
hear what she said? She said back in the day, Crystal used to talk like this all the time. It's why we fell in love with her. But over the years, we've all evolved in our approach. And so we thought she would evolve too. Doesn't that sound like what Crystal was saying about Cardi? The irony is the evolution that Crystal was asking of Cardi, I'm asking of her. Awkward.
The therapist. So you're not expecting a therapist to talk like that. That's if that's how you feel, you would expect to talk like that with your homegirls. My only thing is like her talking like that is what built the platform, but she hasn't gone that hard in so fucking long that I feel like either people have forgot she used to go that fucking hard, or they're expecting more from her, which is I think it's the latter. I just think people are expecting more from her.
Yeah.
I personally think she could have delivered that message without all the hooting and hollering.
I agree.
And it would have been received much better. Without the blatant, now Crystal, I know you for the girls, but Stephon Diggs is not ugly, sister.
He is not.
He a lot of things. He got all them babies. Not ugly. And then I felt like, especially after the damn Labubu caught the damn stray.
Or Labubu.
Fury kept trying to, you feel me, make it.
When did Beyonce go on tour right after having a baby? Beyonce went on tour while pregnant. She was doing performances pregnant. Big performances pregnant. So I think the semantics of, well, what trimester was she in? What date was it? I think is a little bit, I always say people fall into semantics when they want to lack compassion. Beyonce has been in the proximity of pregnancy to the point where Beyonce pregnant backwards on a fucking chair, dressed like the Virgin Mary, is burned into all of our brains. So are we really about to do this? Because Beyonce working while pregnant is part of her fucking fan lore. We don't want to do that. Was Beyonce ever pregnant and working thing? That's not going to age well for nobody. It's part of her fucking brand at this point. That's my point. Pregnancy while working is part of Beyonce's brand. So to be a Beyonce stan but attack Cardi around pregnancy feels like double speak to me.
Kiki, and it was like she was being so serious. And granted, I know she been going at Cardi, or Cardi been irking her nerves for the last few weeks. If you listen, I'm talking if you listen on a weekly basis. But yeah, it was a bit much. It was a bit much. I don't think it's anything that she can't recover from, but I do think it's one of those situations where when the people are calling you hypocrites, when they're saying your body, your choice, when they're saying why you ain't say something about Beyonce at the table with them people because you say it about everybody else, you know. And see, that's the expectation people gonna have of you when you build your platform or kind of are well known for being like morally superior. And I don't think Crystal like morally superior in like a bad way. I think she just have always been very high strung, very solid on what she thinks is right and what she thinks is wrong. Yeah. And then when you don't apply that to everyone, when you don't have a uniform situation, people gonna call you out on that. That's why I ain't built my platform being a morally superior bitch. Bitch, I'm a motherfucking hypocrite. Don't ask me about what the fuck Giselle doing, bitch. I don't know why the fuck she was at the table with them people. She probably was just sitting there for a little second, bitch. I don't fucking know. Don't ask me. I wasn't there.
Look up.
By the way, this is Cardi B with her children in real life. We'll put the volume down so I don't make it copyright. The same Cardi that we're saying, oh my God, she doesn't spend time with her babies. It's just the nannies. I can't believe it. The amount of videos I have of recent times of Cardi driving her kids to different things, buying food for her baby, hanging out with
Mommy's
her.
mad at you. What?
This is the family that thinks money can solve everything. She sent culture to the Dominican Republic to live with her grandma. Her grandma got her doing chores. This is not a broken family, guy. Like, this is... The kids are okay. I'm going to stop because there are so many clips of Cardi with her babies recently, and it's actually wild. Even the interviews for this tour... There's a lot of things you can say about somebody, but if you're going to let somebody's a bad mother, that's something you got to be really careful with.
Hi, guys.
Here's Crystal's response.
Hi, Lena Reigns. Hi, mommy, baby girl. Hi. Y'all are really mad. I forgot how exhilarating it is to have this many people pissed off. It's been a while, so I just wanted to clear something up real quick. Like, please continue to have your hashtag discourse. But I'm seeing a lot of that's not appropriate for a therapist to say. What kind of therapist talks like that? I just want to be super clear that I am not a therapist.
Fair.
I have a master's degree in mental health counseling, but I am not licensed. I am not practicing. I do not see clients. And that's very deliberate. I did that on purpose because, number one, I never had any intention of changing careers. Therapists make a lot less than I do on average. And
did you hear that? She's not a therapist because therapists are broke. She said, oh, honey, I'm not a therapist. I make way too much money to be a therapist. I just did it because I wanted to learn about therapy. Look, she's being fair. She heard your pushback and she is responding. She's not a therapist because they make way less money than she does.
I went to school to learn, not to do something different with my life. I wanted to understand how my therapist was able to help me and do so. So it was just, therapy was really a life-changing experience for me. So I wanted to understand how she did that. And now I know. And I take that education with me. Obviously, it's impossible to separate that from my thoughts and feelings, whatever else. It obviously influences the things I have to say. But I am not a therapist. I haven't been a therapist since I graduated over a year ago. And so I did not want to be bound by all of the rules, regulations, ethics, moral standards.
I've said I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach for the same reason. So I do have to throw my sis some bail. I'm not a therapist because as a coach who also has a psychic gift, it would have been inappropriate for me to let anything that I do spiritually factor into being a therapist. So I do agree there are people in this world who love the idea of being a therapist, but because of the confines of that are meant to keep people safe. So I completely understand the confines. Some of us don't want to be therapists, even though we like the field because of the rules and because we want to respect the rules. So I do want to give her some bail for that because I don't want this to turn into Jack and Crystal. I want this. Those of you who came in here agreeing with Crystal, who have similar blind spots, this is your opportunity to see yourself clearly in somebody else. That's why we're doing this.
All that the therapists have to worry about, I don't have to worry about because I got my degree and left. In New York, you have to do another 3,000 hours post-grad to be licensed. There's exams you have to sit for. I just was never interested in doing that. So I hope this helps.
Oh, that's it?
I'm assuming most of you who are mad are Cardi stans or super fans because I've said the same thing about Cam Newton, Nick Cannon, countless other men, even in the same.
So here's where she loses me. Men don't have reproductive health issues that are being attacked socially at every turn because of misogyny. This is a false equivalency. Comparing you talking about Nick Cannon, admitting that he has kids from a place of trauma and that he had the kids because he never healed from Mariah, which was the segment she did right after the Cardi B segment, is not the same thing as attacking a woman's reproductive choices during a time in American politics where those things are under attack and where you claim to be for pro-choice. They're not the same thing. Nick Cannon and Cardi B are a false equivalency, babe. That is an unintelligent false equivalency, respectfully. Nick Cannon's not dealing with his right to abortion being taken away. Nick Cannon's not dealing with my body, my choice, or in the words of Charlie Kirk, your body, my choice. He's not doing that. No. When it comes to things around misogyny, respectability politics, etc., you cannot cross-pollinate how you talk about men with how you talk about women because they're dealing with different rules and they're dealing with different isms. The sexism that made love to the classism in your Cardi B hot take, the reproductive choices that were dishonored in your Cardi B take don't even apply to Nick Cannon. Let's be for real. I hate that comparison because it's not a real one.
Episode. I went straight from dragging Nick Cannon to dragging Cardi B, but y'all are just mad about the Cardi thing.
Those are not the same.
Which lets me know this is for y'all to deal with respectfully. This is not on me. I'm very consistent when it comes to kids. I don't play about kids. And that is something that really got solidified in the pursuit of my degree. I learned a lot about child development and child psychology. And so I feel more strongly now than ever that y'all need to be doing right by these kids and not deliberately bringing them into chaos and confusion.
So what you're saying, no, Mike said no accountability, none. If she had said everything she just said, and also took any accountability for the unintentional harm that may have been caused, I'm not sure I would have done this live. There's a level of playful condescension, virtue signaling, self-aggrandizing that is happening here. What she just said is, I was a hurt child and went to school to learn about how to make it sound pretty the next time I'm hurt, rather than healing. Any acknowledgement that doesn't in any way involve speaking on self and how you could have done better, even if you had no bad intentions, even if you didn't cause any harm, I'm going to stop playing this. And I'm going to play something that my friend Erica Hart posted. I've known Erica for like 15 years. We met back in DC. She lives in New York now. I live in LA. But Erica, right before I came live, this is actually why I was late. Before I came live, Erica's hot take popped up in my timeline. And it's what I would have said had I not been on this live right now.
I didn't realize so many people listened to that episode. I know The Read has a ton of listeners and a ton of following, but I didn't realize that so many other people had thoughts about Crystal's read of Cardi B, because I listened to that on Friday and I was like, oh, this is icky. You know, to me, you know, I understand The Read. I listen to The Read for gossip, like Hollywood gossip. I understand the concept. And The Read gives respectability, right? I mean, they do a Black excellence portion in the beginning. They talk a lot about Beyonce and Jay-Z and their family. It's respectable, right? And they don't talk necessarily a lot about politics and anti-Blackness. They do, but they don't necessarily go there. So I wasn't totally surprised, but I was a bit just taken aback by the upset around it and also the classist nature of it, saying you're not broke and bored in the Bronx. Yeah. Like, just because you have money doesn't mean that you need to just have kids. We see how Trump's kids have been raised and they have money. It's like, these are false equivalencies. I don't really understand. And then this notion that the child is not going to have a father or there's going to be a fatherless home. I'm like, these 90s anti-Black ass takes in the direction of Black and marginalized people is really, really bizarre. And I am not a Cardi B fan. I just felt like anybody who is a femme person, a woman who's pregnant, to be talking about a birthing person is just, it's weird to me. Yeah. That it just gave me the ick. And Jay-Z and Beyonce were right there. They literally just have dinner with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. And I found it fascinating to me that Crystal and Kid Fury did not have any smoke for them. And I know they are major Beehive fans. And that does not mean that they're above critique. So I just felt like that was a lot of energy towards somebody who's pregnant, like very pregnant.
and a lot of assertions about what they're able to provide for their kid or how they parent their kid.
Exactly.
Because you won't get the concert that you want. And I haven't been to many rap concerts, but the rap concerts that I do go to, the rappers don't really be moving.
Someone said, I feel like Crystal herself would drag her for this take. I'm telling you, if Megyn Kelly had read the transcript of what Crystal said and pretended it was her, they would have dragged her. I'm making that assumption.
A lot. Like, it's not a pop necessarily concert where there's going to be dancing and stuff like that. So I don't really understand the whole Cardi. I went to a Cardi concert and she just sat there. That's what a lot of rappers do. Like, what's the problem? Why can't you go on tour and be pregnant? I mean, Beyonce went on tour and brought her kids. Nobody talked about how that could impact.
And this is the Cardi who she's saying doesn't perform. I'm turning the music off because I don't want to get a copyright, but this is Cardi in her third trimester, y'all. This is Cardi in her third trimester. Look, I'm not even pregnant and I don't even move like that sometimes. So I'm just saying, you're saying that she doesn't take care of her kids or assuming that her kids are not going to be taken care of. All she does is post about taking care of her kids. You're saying she's not going to perform. She was thoughting and bopping last week. We're going to do a quick snippet of Cardi's response and then I have to pivot because Bridget is cussing me out because we're about to go on Patreon and I'm running late because of this live, but I had to make sure that I was as fair as possible because it actually hurts me to do this, guys. I did not enjoy this live at all personally, just because I'm very fond of the read and it hurts me that I have to be on the opposite side for this.
Oh, all right, let's talk affirmation because y'all know I can never stay too quiet for too long because I stop playing with my kids, bro. Word two. So, you know how I've been saying how this week has been going so perfect for me. Like the sales, the reviews on my album has been amazing. And now it's getting even better because of the tour stuff. Yo, oh, Erica. Okay. I don't understand why a whole stranger that don't have children, this is the thing about some people, right? This is the thing that I don't like about some people. Some people think because they went to college or they have like a certain vocabulary, they could speak on things that they don't know and they could speak on things that they don't experience. And they mix their ignorance and they mix their point of view with all these fancy words and all this bullshit. And it's like,
I hate to say it, guys. Cardi is a lot of things. She's not stupid. She can be problematic. So if you want to tell me she's problematic, I already know. She can be polarizing. I already know. Do I stand for her? I don't. Will I admit when she's ever wrong? Absolutely. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I get paid to tell the truth, even if I don't like what I hear. And she's not a dumb bitch. She's a political science major who loves history, who is very civically engaged when it comes to the government and politics and how things affect people. And she did a lot of things for survival when she was poor that she now no longer has to do now that she's thriving. And her emotional intelligence, I hate to say it, I think Cardi B and Crystal have the same level of emotional intelligence. I think they're two women who have above average emotional intelligence who have blind spots that they're not willing to examine. That's the biggest gag of this. I think their EQ is equitable, which is why hearing Crystal drag her and then take no accountability when, babe, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of how Spike Lee used to talk down on Tyler Perry, but over the years, Spike Lee's storytelling has gone down and Tyler Perry's production value has gone up, and now they're peers. That new Spike Lee movie that came out on Apple might as well have been a Tyler Perry production. Spike talked all this shit about Tyler Perry just to end up being, hey, twin, where have you been? So, Crystal, respectfully, I don't think Cardi B's EQ is any lower than yours. She responds to feedback the same way you do.
Like, you're dead fucking wrong. You try me one time, cool. Then the second time, let me tell you something. If you have an opinion about my personal life and what I personally do, that's okay. That's you. You don't know my life. You don't see half the shit. Even the things that I show you, you don't even know half of it. Don't come to the internet and be like, hey, I done study on children. And when it comes to kids, I don't play about them.
Yeah.
You are not going to sit here.
The insinuation. Ooh, Cardi clocked, because I actually haven't heard Cardi's response. I wanted to hear Cardi's response live with y'all. So this is the one video I haven't watched. That's a fucking amazing point. To say that you dragged a pregnant woman because you don't play about kids is a very, very heavy insinuation about her mother. Ooh, bitch. I didn't even clock that. Yo, Cardi is right. Oh, fuck. See? I'm a smart person, but I'm not God. I didn't clock that. She's absolutely right. To speak ill of someone with that much vitriol and your response to the backlash is, well, I did it because I don't play about kids. Then what are you saying about the mother who's pregnant? Who you, oh, bon Dieu. That, Crystal, baby. Oh, man. Cardi's like that hood girl who you think is stupid until you realize she watches documentaries a lot. And you're like, ah, shit, this bitch be knowing stuff.
Tell me that you don't play about my kids. Because when it comes to me, I will kill, I will bury a block, I'll go to the death penalty, I'll die, come back from heaven, kill again for all my 3 and now 4 children.
I agree. So this is where my blind spot is. I'm a very maternal person. My friends who are in here will tell you, if you talk shit about, I almost went to jail once because somebody was talking crazy to my mother and I blacked out. I don't know what happened, but when I woke up, my mother was crying and so was he. So, God still work. Y'all know, okay, thumping for Jesus. I don't have children. If I almost went to jail defending my mother, if God forbid I was pregnant by my rebound, and you spoke as if I was going to be a shitty mother just because I kept it, whatever Cardi's saying is much nicer than what I would say. Let me calm down. The tourist in me, just even thinking about it, hypothetically, I'm getting violent. Mike is in here. He'll tell you. All my friends know that if somebody does them dirty, they have to wait till I'm calm to tell me. Because my first thought is, are we throwing hands or feet? Like, what's good? Imagine me with children. So I will say, as a non-mother, yeah, Cardi's actually being very, the funny thing is, Crystal was being flippant and condescending while Cardi's being very evolved here. They kind of switch places in the response. The irony of you calling Cardi a dumb hood rat bitch, but you responded more like a bird, and she's actually the one who's dropping bars. This is awkward.
So don't tell me about shit about kids. That's one. I have never in my career, I feel like because I'm having such a great week, I feel like the devil is trying to try me to get out of character. Because it's like, I have never, ever, ever. One thing about it, even people that hate me, like, there's fan pages and there's blogs that don't like me. One thing that they have never tried me on is my motherhood. One time I got tried for my motherhood and it didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people don't be bringing up my motherhood or how I raised my kids, because if you see me, I'm always with my kids. For you to say because of my personal choices.
To be clear, Cardi is with her kids so much, I get sick of the kids sometimes. Like, if I was happily married, I don't think I'd be with my kids that much. Respectfully, the way my age, I need quiet time. I need like an hour in the morning. I'd be the mother who'd be eating McDonald's locked in the bathroom hiding from my kids. I'd be a great mom, but I get overwhelmed. The amount of on her, Cardi's kids are on her so much, I think those nannies are not getting paid for much. That's the irony of this. That's the extreme irony of this, is that Cardi comes from a culture where being a mom is something that she really, really loves, and she's shown that for years. 7 years. Crystal, if you had done a little bit more research, baby.
Is that I'm bringing trauma to my kids. Trauma to who? If you're worried about trauma with children, you need to go to these places. Yeah, I don't have it. Ask Brown. Go there and ask Brown. If you're looking for kids with trauma, you need to go to these homes where these kids are getting abused.
Yeah.
Where these kids are getting fed things that parents want to be fed because they believe in certain type of whatever the crap food is. You need to be going to these homes where parents are confusing their kids and shit like that. You need to go to these homes. But when you're trying to talk about trauma to my kids because I have a baby, I'm having a baby and my baby just turned 1. Bro, people that happens all the time. I know I could take care of 4 kids. I could take care of 3, I could take care of 4. You're talking about trauma with my kids. The only trauma that my kids experience, you want to know the only trauma that my kids experience? That they cry when they can eat candy after 8 o'clock. Yeah, no more candy.
I'm going to stop playing it before Bridget cusses me out because I do have to go. I will say this. My attempt today wasn't to drag anybody, to be unfair, to be sensational. In fact, I said there's a lot of things I could have said to be sensational and go viral that I didn't say because they were irresponsible. I want you guys to think more critically about how confirmation bias has you clapping for people who hurt in the same way that you hurt. And just because they feel familiar doesn't mean they're right. A lot of you who are caping for Crystal and acting as if we can't love her and also critique her misstep are just revealing to me where your own blind spots exist. And instead of projecting that on a woman who even her enemies would have to admit is a good mother, I'm just disappointed that if I was ever told that I hurt someone unintentionally with a hot take, and even if I couldn't stand them, may have caused harm to people who caught strays and were innocent, and might have realized that I overspoke in some way, my response wouldn't be only dumb bitches are mad. I forgot how exhilarating it was to keep dumb bitches mad. And I stand behind everything I said because I want to protect children. I wouldn't insinuate that she abuses her children as a way of covering up my own blind spot. The hubris it takes to have that level of condescension in a response about a show in which you talked about Charlie Kirk in the next breath, while sounding so much like him. There's a hypocrisy in that I cannot clap for or cape for, even if it's coming from another Black woman who I heavily respect. And y'all can save your breath telling me about any other content creators who think otherwise. I'm an independent thinker, baby. Blue Toulousema only speaks for Blue Toulousema. I don't care if one of my best friends is something else. That's me and that's her. We're different people. Stop trying to be messy and always come in here trying to start an argument just because I have a differing opinion. I don't need people to agree with me. As long as me, God, yes, I do still believe in God. I don't beat people up for Jesus anymore. As long as me, God, and my data points have come to peace with something, I'm okay with everybody disagreeing with me. And also just know I can't be scared off the internet. I got my first check from the internet in 2002 before blogging even existed, baby. I've been here longer. I've been playing the long game. Just because you just met me doesn't mean I just got here. Okay? All right, I got to go do my other show on Patreon. For those who want to be a part of the tarot class or my story time, I am going to be doing a sexy story time probably towards the end of this month, top of next month, about how I was a Girl 6 operator. I'm also going to be doing a Tarot Academy. Please look in the description box. You'll see it says join as a member. Those members only lives are a lot more explicit than the ones I do publicly. All right. It's a great time. And it's only like $10 a month. So it's like $250 a week. It's very inexpensive. But yeah, for those who asked about Love Island games, Monique will be back here, back to something light. On Friday, Monique will be back for our first ever Love Island games recap. I'm only watching it because Monique is watching it. She's making me watch it because I'm still tired from the last Love Island. So if you have not watched Love Island games, I'm giving you a 3-day heads up to binge watch it. So on Friday, me, you, and Monique can just get with the shits and get into a really great conversation. All right. I adore you. I love y'all. Don't forget that the code in the chat is, I think, Mike said, show Cardi B some grace. Y'all can watch it back. I said it earlier. And Mike, thank you for coming in here. Mike said, and she speaks for me. I know Mike did. You know what? I can't wait to watch this back and see all the violence that y'all and Mike were choosing in the chat. Mike will be back before the year is over. See, Mike, I'm roping you in. We just have to figure out when it makes sense. So yeah, we'll see y'all on Friday, guys. Watch Love Island games so that you can keep up with the conversation. Now I really have to go because I have to pee. I love y'all. Bye.